Good evening, one and all. Hope you are well. Turning on my stuff because I forgot to turn it on. There we go. I think we're live and I think we're kicking. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to A Tale of Many Warhipsters, Season 2, Episode 9. Brom's favourite number. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you are all doing very well this evening. I am excited. I'm also very tired. It's been a very long day. And the day will only continue to get longer. But we have lots and lots of lovely miniatures to look at. Lots of really cool stuff. And tonight I am joined by Mr. Gwatkin. Because Adam is tired from being in Japan on holiday. And Mr. Smith, he's also working. So it's just going to be the two of us tonight. So nice and intimate with all of you guys watching out there. And we've got lots of stuff to get through, but not as much as last time we did this. So it shouldn't finish as late as last time out. So I'm going to undeafen Mr. Gwatkin now. So unless he's swearing, he should be able to hear me now. And we're going to head over to this screen. Oh, look, it's already broken. Good. Hello, Mr. Gwatkin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you, mate. I've been beavering away painting Night Lords because that's what everybody asked for in the comments on that video. Everyone said Night Lords. Everyone at some point said everything.
Of course.
Yeah. So, Idol of the Old Ones is quite popular. Mandrakes, the Generatorum Hub, the Night Haunt, and of course the Night Lords as well. People are quite interested in having all of those painted. So I decided I would do the Night Lords first because that's the thing everybody's been going for. And it is Trim City, baby! So...
Yep, 100% Trim City. Having some Chaos Space Marines myself, there is so much trim.
I'll give a little preview for the people on YouTube. There you go. There is a Night Lord. There you go. Haven't done the lightning yet, but that will be happening very, very soon. Plops of Corn has kicked us off tonight with an incredible £20 donation, saying, "Let's get this party started." I agree, Plops of Corn. Let's get this party started. I hope you're all excited out there, guys. We've got quite a few debutantes tonight.
Ooh.
For Tale of Many Warhipsters, which is very exciting. That's really nice. Like to see it. And of course, we have many of the people who've been following us throughout the series. You can't hear Rich. Can you hear him now? Say something, Mr. Gwatkin.
Hello. I am testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Can you guys hear him?
Is it any better now?
Let me just turn the gentle blues music down just a little bit. Yeah, everyone can hear him.
How about now?
Excellent. Oh, I realise I probably got it slightly wrong and that the desktop audio was turned down a little too low, because I need a mixer really for this instead of having to rely on desktop audio, but that is a problem for another time. Anyway.
Just add one more tech thing into the mix.
Yeah, well, exactly. More tech for me to break, because that's exactly what the people like to see. This professional YouTuber muck it up all the time. I tell you, I'm a professional. But yeah, as always, guys, please do leave a like on the stream. It was very helpful, and it is a free way to support the channel. I would very much greatly appreciate it because you guys are the best. Our first goal of the evening, as always, is 50 likes. And then our second goal is 69. Nice. So, are you ready to kick things off, Mr. Gwatkin?
Yeah, I'm ready to see what people have got in store for us this month.
Good. Because there's a lot. Um,
It always is.
Yeah, it always is, right? So we will press some buttons. This button. And you guys should be able to see it now. Hope everyone can see it at home. Let me just make sure it's working. Yes, it is. Awesome. So, as always, kick things off with me. And I've got a bunch of crew. There's not a lot more I can say about it. I've got the crew hunting pack.
Yeah.
So, as I've it was a project I actually kicked off on the last Tale of Many Warhipsters, was the Tau Army. This is a contribution towards that, of course, with 10 Kroot Carnivores, a Kroot Ox Rider, Kroot Ox Rampagers, a Flesh Shaper, and a War Shaper.
Yeah. I mean, they look incredible, but how did you actually enjoy painting them? Because I know you were raving about this box when it arrived.
I enjoyed painting them quite a lot. There's a certain degree of like familiarity to painting them from a Sigmar perspective. So I jumped into these basically after the one thing that's mostly sat in my memory has been painting Flesh Eater Courts. So jumping into this, I was like, yeah, this feels.
Yeah, kind of got like similar tones, not quite as ghoulish skin, but I can see some similarity there for sure.
Music a touch quieter. How's that? Is that better? It's as quiet as we can go with us having the music on. My hand isn't steady enough. So there's a certain familiarity painting them in terms of like kind of when you come to from painting it a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff, because they have quite a few elements of that kind of Sigmar style of design of miniatures, whilst also sort of being very grounded in 40k, which is one of the reasons why I really like this Kroot range. I think they're very, very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was massive fun painting them, and also just like coming up with even more skin recipes for stuff. It's just fun.
Yeah, no, it's always great to sort of play around. I tend to sort of agonize over recipes for a long time and do lots of research and then like pick a color scheme and then do that color scheme. But yeah, just to have like 10 molds and go, hey, come up with whatever you want. You know, just like have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be so fun and freeing.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's like it's fun as the painter, right, to be able to do something slightly different with what you're kind of getting up to, because you know it's all well and good having lots of uniformed men, but
like Kroot are one of the ones where like there seem to be like more of like a natural race where there would be lots of variety in shades of like color of the skin, and that's more prominent on the model, so it feels like you can play around with it a bit more.
Yeah.
Just like, here is the Space Marine armor, and it is going to be the color of the Space Marine armor.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like, I'm very pleased with how these have come out. I do obviously have another 10 Kroot Carnivores to do. I've had to put those to one side for now because I'm very busy with other stuff. But we will get to doing 10 more. Did you enjoy playing with the different combos with skin tones? Yeah. No, that was the thing I really enjoyed, Laura. So I was getting to like just kind of experiment a little bit with being able to do sort of micro differences, because like what I ended up doing was 10 very distinctly different colors, but then using 2 shades from either side of the color palette to tie it all closer together. So you obviously have the real outlier there with the one that's Ultramarines blue, and the one that's Mantis Warriors green is another real outlier. But otherwise, the rest of them all feel like they're from the same brood. They've just got slight tonal differences, which was really fun to experiment with. Again, slightly different to doing it with the Flesh Eater Courts, in that there were some slight tonal differences here and there when I was doing it, but ultimately, you know, I was still kind of sticking mostly towards like, if we're going to do Hollow Morn, it's all going to be variations of a very similar type of green. Which then invariably means you have different variations of green within that. So to kind of put these together was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do more.
Yeah, to sort of think about how to tie everything together, like you said there as well. Like shades are a great way to do that, but there's some painters that we've seen in this series before that have a very like desaturated color palette, or have a little bit of brown and everything, or a little bit of gray and everything, or of a little bit of like the counter color, like the complementary color. And yeah, so it's great to sort of see and experiment with those ways of how can I make things different colors but still look like the same army.
One thing I'd like to experiment with is doing the exact same video again, the exact same recipes, but doing it over Gracie. No, sorry, doing it over Wraithbone, or whatever
Yeah,
I
the
did with
Wraithbone,
these. I now can't remember. I think I did them with the Wraithbone. But just doing it over a completely different primer and see how that comes out.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's move on. So, I didn't... Why is that slightly dodgy? Okay, that's
Never mind.
that's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Okay, well, I fixed it now, so that's all good. Anyway, I do forgive me if did you send me pictures?
I did not, so apologies to everyone. This month I was very busy and doing other things, so unfortunately I did not get time to paint anything, or at least get anything to completion. But the stuff is still being worked on. I've got a couple of half-finished character models, but I am working on stuff still. Just nothing got finished for this month.
Cool. Because I was putting the pack together. I started putting the pack together last night at an ungodly hour. So what I do is, just for a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, is I do us as the hosts first, and then I do everybody who's emailed me, then I do everybody who's submitted by the form, and then I do everybody in Discord, and then I pepper them throughout the pack. And I was doing our bit, and I was like, I thought he'd sent me something, but then I was looking back through the old one. That was where your Moria goblins were.
I taken a well-earned break after painting 50 models in 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, it's very well earned. But we're not here to talk about you, because you haven't done anything.
No, I haven't done anything.
We're now here talking about Mr. Dave Hall, who has submitted to us a butcher, a tyrant, and a firebelly. I want to call it. It's the magician version for the Ogor tribes, and I think they're beautiful. I particularly love his butcher on the left, the one on the left.
I mean, every one of them have just like bits and pieces you can pick out. I mean, the butcher, like the gruesome, like bloody parts and hand, and yeah, it really like. He's got it looking like extra glossy as well, which is super disturbing and fantastic. But then also like the fire effects. I mean, I'm always such a fan of seeing fire out and like being painted like that. And it always looks great. It's just the yellow to red transition is just so satisfying to paint and also to see on models. But yeah, there's just so many like great details on here to pick out. It's funny because like think about ogres and you think, oh, they're just big models and lots of skin to paint, but there's so many like little things here that he's picked out in different colors that you just every time I look at these models I just see something new and something else to sort of think about.
Yeah, the skin is particularly rich. It's very, very, very I'd almost say photorealistic. There's lots of really nice tones going on there. It's kind of like soft muscles at that size as well. It's not like there's no like harsh highlights, which I'm guilty of doing on things like this.
For sure, for the same. I think I've got some old demon princes where I'm just I'm not gonna bother blending this. I'll just do a couple of highlights and they'll do me for the day. But yeah, like you said, the blending on the skin is really excellent.
Yeah, and then also the tattoos on the firebelly that have been painted in.
Yep.
They're particularly wonderful, and the tyrant as well is excellently well done. For a much more big and impressive ogre than perhaps the other two are generally supposed to be. There's a lot going on there, and he's executed every single aspect of it just perfectly. Particularly like the staining on the wood from the bloodied hand.
I mean, it looks so realistic, but I'm sure it's funny sometimes the simple things can be so effective, where it's like, oh, it could have just been like I spilled about a bit over where I was painting it, but also he could have just done that intentionally, and probably knowing Dave did do that intentionally to help tell the story. It's a simple technique that tells so much about it. It's like, yeah, he's been wielding this spear for a long time. It's got so much blood in his hand that it still drips out onto the wood and then stains the wood. And sometimes the most effective things aren't that hard to achieve.
Yeah,
they still look great.
Yeah, it's excellent work, Dave. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Next up, we have Mr. PT13 Painting, who has a veritable feast of unique guard models for us here today. So we've got Sergeant Ripper Jackson, a model I haven't seen for ages, and we've got the Grim. Was it Grim Resolve? Was the event? What was it called? The event commissar.
I can't remember.
I had one and I gave it away.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the model before, but I can't remember where it's from. They put out so many different sort of unique and cool commissars. I think they should do more like unique and cool commissars as well, because we've had so many Space Marine lieutenants. Just give us more commissars, because they always look fantastic.
Yeah, commissar. Yeah, I mean they're so iconically Astra Militarum, right? But they're also like a real. I think a commissar appears in a lot of people's favorite stories, or a sort of commissar adjacent character. There's also a lot of hero commissars as well at certain points.
Yeah, well, they're just, like you said, they're just so iconic.
Yeah,
they're like very specific to 40k as well.
Yeah, and also the banner, I'm pretty certain is an out of production banner. I'm fairly certain it is. But I'm not entirely certain.
Wouldn't be surprised
if it is, because I don't think it's not the one that you get in the new Command Squad. That's for sure. I'm pretty certain it's not. Was the event exclusive last year? Yeah, that's it. That's it, isn't it? You're on. And then we have the usual combination of bits of Adeptus Mechanicus, and we have some Kriegsman as well, and the sniper over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so impressive how much PT13 Painting can just blend all these different parts from all these different guard kits and beyond into something that looks so seamless, and every model is unique, and yet they all look like an army. And they all look like they're part of the same army, even if you can see that they've got like a silver breastplate on the one second from the right. But that just seems natural, even though, some of the other ones might have more flak armor, and even on the left, the banner bearer's got the same thing. But it's, just the way that this color scheme works together, I'm always just so delighted to see what he's done next, because it all is so unique, but works so well.
Yeah, I'm especially looking forward to the family photo. There's only 3 episodes left after this one.
Guard always looks amazing in family photos, but this army for sure.
Yeah. Awesome work, Paul. Thank you. Next up, we have Colonel, who has
more
submitted
of these blue ghosts.
Ulrak the Drowner, and is it a Cairn Wraith? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, definitely some kind of wraith, and I think Cairn Wraith is right.
I think it's a Cairn Wraith. He's in the chat. Hello, Colonel. Do tell us. But firstly, let's examine your models. So Ulrak the Drowner was for me has been a real highlight of 3rd edition Warhammer Age of Sigmar. He's just a wonderful miniature, and also his background is fabulous as well.
I'm sure.
In life, he was a ferryman that would take people's coin and then drown them.
Gotcha.
And so Nagash, being Nagash, was like, "Yep, you're a Nighthaunt now, and you're still going to keep doing that because you're going to be tormented. You're going to be tormented by doing that for the rest of the time." So, if one of the cool little details, and Colonel's picked it out here, is the wraith, the sort of the spirits that are trying, that they're asking for passage. Right, you can see one of them's trying to pay with a coin for passage.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's lovely, and so like. On the reason we talk about that is, the blue that Colonel likes to put into his Nighthaunt really suits with the background of Ulrak the Drowner. So absolutely. Is this from AOS? Yes, Ice Phoenix. They're from Age of Sigmar. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the highlighting that he's done, that he always does on like the ghostly sort of parts of the body, always fantastic to get such a clean transition between the like the white and the blue. It's a great color scheme, always looks so icy and cold. But when you're sort of mentioning that, because he's done those with blue with the sort of white highlights, it almost sort of replicates like the sea or like the river that the ferryman's going like across, so it suits even better.
Yeah, and it's really not an easy miniature to paint, as Plops of Corn has mentioned. There, it's really hard because he's as I always do, I don't paint things in sub assemblies. So when I put him together, I was like, it'll be fine, and then realised, oh yeah.
Does he wobble all over the place like some of the other ones do?
It's not that he wobbles; it's that there's a load of detail going on inside the boat. Little soul coins and things like that are all scattered within. It's not easy. It can be a daunting miniature to look at and paint, but I think he's executed it fantastically.
No, for sure. And then also like the contrast between like the ghostly paleness and then like Orakan. Is it Orakan?
Ulrak.
Ulrak. That's right. I was going to say that's a different model. Ulrak is sort of like dark and brooding, and like the boat itself, it's that lovely contrast between having something a little bit more bright and then something quite dark and menacing, and like the wood is done in a really naturalistic way as well. And yeah, it's just like so much depth to this model. It really draws you in.
Yeah, you definitely, Colonel, you give me lots and lots of with your painting, with the color scheme that you've chosen, give me lots and lots of very nostalgic memories of playing World of Warcraft and being in Northrend, in the Borean tundra. I don't know what it is. It's just something that really kind of just it sparks a real happy memory of mine. Looking at your stuff, there's very like kind of Wrath of the Lich King kind of vibes to it, which is fantastic, and I love it. It's really great color choices, and I really love that shade of blue. What shade of blue is it you're using, if you don't mind my asking? Because I might steal it or convert it into contrast. So yeah, let me know, Colonel. He says, "Thank you, Rich.
Looks like it might be.
My son loved the wave effect of the ghost, and you, Josh. I did paint it in. Yes, Josh, I did paint it in sub assembly. Good man."
Yep.
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna guess maybe Sotek green because I use that a lot in like my turquoise color schemes, but it seems maybe a bit more bluish. So that would be my best guess. Maybe like a Sotek green, but I'm not entirely sold because he's done it. It's so not quite luminous, but very strong, very bright color, and I'm not sure if I usually get that on mine. But maybe that's because I often work up from black. So
it is a turquoise ink. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. Much better than the Sotek green.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much, Colonel. It's very, very kind of you to submit those, and I hope you're doing well, buddy. Lots of love. Next up, Chewy Zero, with a blast from the past, 2 blasts from the past, and Chewy, I know you're here. I saw you here earlier. He said that these were featured in a battle report, and if you type the name of the channel in the chat, people can go and watch it. Don't watch it now because we're doing this.
But come back to it.
Come back.
We've still got more models come through.
But because you won't be able to put the link, unfortunately, because YouTube won't let you do that. But you can put the name of the channel in, and you can see Chewie's models. Daily Dice. There you go. You can see Chewie's models in action. But we have got some company veterans, and we have a Belial, the original Belial.
Yeah, old Belial and some old company vets. I mean, I remember, not sure if it was when this kit first came out of company vets, but it was just the coolest kit you could buy back in that era because of all the cloaks and just like Space Marines are cool, but then you get Space Marines with the cloaks.
Yeah,
they were just amazing. So it's great to see them here with all the special, like you've got like the custom shoulder pads as well. You've got a back banner. Back banners are ace. Always love to see them. And the extra detail you've done on there, everything looks fantastic. Classic color scheme, great sort of edge highlighting. The robes look fantastic, and then Belial's just the man. Like, he's great.
Yeah. I love that. Because the old version of Belial used to be able to give him the Sword of Silence, right? But you used to also be able to give him a Thunder Hammer and a Storm Shield. Can't do that anymore. But you used to be able to.
Back in the day.
The vets, I'm running a Stern Guard. Now we can use them. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that old, like you said, Rich, that old company veterans box was one of the coolest Space Marine kits on the planet.
100%.
Just like you said, because it's Space Marines in pajamas. What more can you ask for? But you do have some really cool, like there was some really nice little helmets which we've used over here. You see the beaky one with the Dark Angels logo going across it. I always really like that helmet. It's really cool. Top work, Chewie. Love to see it.
Yeah, great stuff.
Are you not planning on getting the new Belial? The new Belial's pretty nice. Although he will be massively outsizing every one of your older miniatures.
As long as they're on the same base, they're all good. And he's got a back banner on this Belial, so even if the other one is taller, this one's still got the banner. So you're good in terms of like sizing anyway.
It's quite funny if you use some of the newer characters alongside Firstborn stuff. It actually ends up starting looking like every one of the new characters is, basically Alexis Pollux, because he was always in the story, the Imperial Fists captain, who then went on to found the Crimson Fists, I believe. He was always massive, like just much taller than other Space Marines, which is fun. Yamail Angmar, thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. And Chewie says, have 12,000 points of Dark Angels, all Firstborn. Decided to keep them as such for thematic reasons. Primaris can go into my Knights of Maha. Love it.
Perfect. I've often thought about just doing a Primaris, like when I was doing some Space Marines in the past, I was doing some Salamanders and they were Primaris only. But in the back of my mind, I should do like another army that's just for Firstborn and have like lots of like Rhinos and Razorbacks and do like the whole like Razorback Rush or Rhino Rush and like Dev Marines and just like a very classic army. So yeah, I love that you've keeping them one and the other, and it makes perfect sense because Dark Angels don't want to share their secrets with the Primaris. They were one of the slowest to adopt Primaris anyway, and then get them into all the like Deathwing and everything else. So yeah, makes total sense.
I have quite a few Firstborn Blood Angels that are looking very nervous at me quite a lot of the time. I have something like 30 or 40 tactical Marines. One thing I don't have enough of is so that I can actually use my Razorbacks, is I need to get some Devastator squads. Or some Vanguard veterans without jump packs. I know that's a possibility, but it's Blood Angels, man. They have to have jump packs.
Yeah, it's Blood Angels. It's like, if you can have a jump pack, you're getting a jump pack.
Yeah. So part of me does like want to do build and paint some 7th edition detachments, and part of that would be
that'd be very fun.
getting some drop pods and doing Skyhammer Annihilation Force. So I would need 2 units of Devastator squads. And if we're going to go down the gamey route from back then, they'd all have to have grav cannons. So I'm just, I probably will
and
do
then you
it.
have your assault marines. Yep.
But yeah, no, this is lovely stuff, Chewy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Excellent work. Next up, we have Lacuva, who sent in one at the absolute death today, and it was the one on the far right. But he submitted one a little bit earlier on, which was the Jump Captain, with quite possibly one of the prettiest power swords I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looks great.
Doesn't it look wonderful?
But like, not to take away from the other big sword that's in this picture as well, which is Be'lakor, which I would guess that he's maybe followed your recipe here, because it looks stunning. I know I've seen yours in the flesh many times, and it's one of your best painted models. It looks incredible. It's always an incredible model anyway. But yeah, the captain, I love the hood that the captain's got. Everything about Be'lakor is great. It's just great all around here.
Yeah, the Be'lakor, I really love that Be'lakor miniature, mostly because it's won me a couple of best painted minis at various events.
Yeah, to the point where you stop submitting it to things because you're like,
yeah,
I've already won too much with it.
Exactly, it wasn't fair.
Keep submitting it. Let's see it more.
It's been excellent work on Be'lakor. Is it because again, it's not an easy miniature to do, Be'lakor, but Be'lakor will always be like. Will always occupy a very special place in my heart, because it was the Be'lakor that, as you know, awakened something in me. It changed how I felt about Chaos completely.
I remember going back and watching that old video, and you were like, I mean, this is such a lovely model. We'll see if it awakens something in me or not. Like, I may end up with like lots of Chaos, but this is just like dipping your toe into the water and like, and then fast forward a couple of years and you're now like, this is my grand army of Chaos.
Yes.
I must get more.
Here is my 10,000 points of Chaos across 2 game systems. Yeah, it's lovely. But like I said, Be'lakor is excellent, executed brilliantly, Lacuva. But your power sword, if you're in the chat, you have to tell us how you did that, because it's almost like sparkly leopard print.
Yeah, I almost. Maybe crackle paint, that would be my guess, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just don't know.
If he's like done like a colour underneath and then the crackle paint over the top, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know. It looks wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really nice paint job on it. And it looks like you spent a lot of time with it. And if you're here, you're going to tell us that you didn't spend that much time on it. And that's going to be...
that's exactly what's going to happen. It's like, no, it's easy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I just did this, this, and this, and then it was done. Oh, good. No.
Yep.
Excellently executed. Like I said, Be'lakor. It's always a favourite. I love him. Nice work. Really nice work. Thank you, Lacuva. Next up, Dambuster UK. We've got a couple of slides. Because we have many bolt actions that he's painted for us today. So we have a pair of Shermans and a Stuart tank, I believe.
Look, Adam was the one that knew what tanks were which. I have no idea.
Captain Mannerings is here. He knows his tanks.
People in the chat will tell us what they are. I cannot help you. I could not name a single tank that was outside of 40k.
I also think I saw Peter Collins in here. He also knows his tanks.
He'll definitely know.
But yes, we have a couple of Shermans here. They're definitely Shermans. I know those ones. I think it's a Stuart.
More than me.
I
mean, they look fantastic though. Very realistic paint schemes. I love all the extra details, all the numbers, all the flags. I'm assuming some of those are decals. If they are free-handed, then it's nuts because, I mean, it just looks so crisp and clean, and I have no idea how you would paint the flags that small if they were free-handed. So, whichever they are, impressive work either way. Like with Astra Militarum, funnily enough, all the decals and markings and extra work really makes the tanks pop. But I love the green that you've got here, the weathering you've done. It's all great.
Yeah. There's something very iconic about that 1940s typeface that's used for.
Yeah.
It's you see it on. I mean, you see it in every war film.
Yeah, it's kind of that like army stencil look.
Yeah, and it's lovely to see it. And like I echo everything you just said about the greens. The greens are spot on. I'm pretty certain the greens are spot on, because that's always the hardest part, isn't it? About bolt action is getting those militaristic
any
colours.
historical wargaming really is. I know not every historical wargamer, and probably less in bolt action, but there are some pockets of the historical wargaming community that can be very particular with the exact shade of paint, or like if you painted it this color, that means it's from this year of the war, and etc. etc. And like you can get down to as much minute detail as you want, really, or you can just paint things green and go with it.
Yeah. No, it's excellently executed. He's got more. I believe this is the Band of Brothers starter set, is what he said.
Ooh.
So these are the Germans. So it would be the Normandy troops, I would guess. So here we have the German troops as the last bit of that set. I think is what he said in the email. There's lots of character in them, isn't there? I never really.
Yeah, very much so.
You're often like one of the things I think that lets down some other miniatures companies is the kind of there can be a little bit of a lack of variation at times, or indeed a lack of like I said character within the miniatures. But here it's like almost every single one of them is different, and I know that some of them are similar, but they look cracking.
Yeah, I mean, also that's down to paint scheme, and I love the little bits of like camo that you've mixed in here as well. But yeah, even like a paint scheme, even if two miniatures look very similar, just painting them slightly different, and having different textures on different parts of them can make them suddenly look like different miniatures as well. But yeah, like you said, great character in this. Yeah, they look great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're fabulous. He's got the other half of it as well. So he sent this to me today, and this is
lovely.
A family photo of everything, essentially. So there we go. There's the Americans, and like I said, I'm pretty certain the words "the Band of Brothers starter set" were in one of the emails.
I wonder if that's like the TV series have been doing so well, and then Bolt Action have just jumped on, being like, "Well, everyone's interested in it now, so we've got to put something together just for these people."
Maybe. Although it is, it does follow quite a few of the most famous battles. So, America's participation in the war from Normandy to the Bulge to the other bits.
If there's a new starter set that they've brought out because of that show, I don't know if there is, but if that is the case, then that's great because it'll get more people into the game.
Is that a Pershing in the middle? I think I don't know. It might well be. It might well be. Peter will know.
Yeah. Please do correct us, because as you can tell, we will just name things and get them wrong.
Yeah. But like I said, the green of the green of the troop of the airborne. Excuse me. Is spot on. I think I'm pretty certain it's the right green.
It looks good to us anyway.
It is a Pershing. There we go. See, I can always rely on the chat. They know their tanks. I can rely on chat for tanks, and I can rely on Adam for science fiction battleships.
Yep.
Because he can go on and on about a Venator class destroyer. I'm sure he has done on one of these streams before.
Probably.
Which is just a very weird, it's like the weird set of, it's that weird information that people retain. So like last night I was talking to Alice about wrestling. She was like, "Why is that in your brain?" I was just like, "Well, because
it got put in there one day and never left."
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, no, it's really lovely stuff, Dan Buster. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. Like I said, I think I've said this a couple of times now. If I wasn't so busy right now, I would be diving into my A Gentleman's War box from Warlord Games. But I am incredibly busy at the moment, and I will be for pretty much the month of April.
There's lots to do.
Yes. Unfortunately, the rest time is over. So, yeah. So I'm envious of you, Dambuster, getting to paint such lovely miniatures. So thank you very much for sharing these with us. Next up, we have Cetonius. Mike is here, and he's got 2 slides. We have 2 Biologus Putrefiers? Is that what they're called?
It's either that or the Noxious Blightbringer, and I can't remember which one is which now.
Let's have a look.
Whichever one it is.
Talk amongst yourselves. Whilst I Google it. Biologus Putrefier. Oh god, I can't spell. Oh god, I just spelt it wrong again.
I mean, it is a Nurgle Death Guard thing. They always have so many different names.
It is a Biologus Putrefier. Yes.
There you go.
So we have 2 Biologus Putrefiers here. One in the Pallid Hand Vectorum and one in the classic Death Guard green. He said one of them has unfortunately had the needle snapped off, and it was no fault of his own. But we do have 2 here, and he sent me a lot of pictures, so I thought I'd put them both on the same slide. You can see them side by side, but there is another one to come after this, but I won't spoil what it is.
I mean, Death Guard always look great. He's done a wonderful job here. The lovely pale bone armor looks fantastic. There's so much. I know from experience that there's so much detail on these models, especially on the characters, and it's all being picked out, all in different colors, all given love and time, care, and affection, or affliction, as Death Guard would have them. It makes like the viewing experience of this model, there's so much to see, and like I love especially like the very luminous bits of like the yellowish green on the ends of like a bit of like pus coming out or whatever it might be from the model. Just like the luminous colors and the brightness you get in here contrasts so well against that sort of like dark grubby armor.
Yeah, 100%. I love as well seeing, because it, like I said, it is the same model twice, but it's a lovely example of how a change in, I say it's a minor change, it's quite a big change, but a slight change to the main theme of it gives you almost a completely different vibe, but within the same spectrum, as it were.
Yeah, they definitely do, despite other colors being similar, like all of the models sharing similar colors, either having like the pallid sort of bone armor versus the more dark and menacing green armor. Like they're both menacing, but they're like you said, they're menacing in very different ways. It's lovely to see.
Colonel says, "Wow, are those Christmas ornaments on it?"
I believe this is just I think this is the grenade one, maybe. So he's basically just got a bunch of grenades and he just throws them all and enhances everyone else's grenades. So he's probably just like handing them out. It's like, here, you throw this.
Yeah, no, that is here. He is this one. His other one is Typhus.
This looks fantastic. I mean, I love that shade of green. We're talking about like the different shades of green having like, and all the different shades of armor getting the right tone. This is the perfect shade for Typhus. I love how you've got the I forget the names of the words, but his hive,
Destroyer Hive,
Big Hive, Destroyer Hive. That's the one. On the back, kind of swooping around the sides, but all has that sort of smoke, and you've got bits of bugs not picking out of it. The color choices for everything here is just so on point. I really love how you've done the model.
Yeah, I've seen people paint Typhus without the Destroyer Hive, and I've seen people paint it with, and like he almost looks a little bit naked without it.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, it's one of the more impressive parts of the model. For me, I quite like the old Typhus.
Oh yeah.
Where he was a bit more hunched over and he just had his Man Reaper to the side, scythe to the side. And I will say that when the new Death Guard models came out, by and large I did like them, but the Typhus I wasn't as happy about because I liked the old model. But having seen lots of Typhuses over the years, I think it's just a more of a case of how they painted him, where they lent more into the sort of the jolly, silly side of Nurgle, where I much prefer like the really dark, menacing side of Nurgle, and I think this strikes that sort of perfect balance and actually looks much more menacing than, say, the GW version does.
Yeah, I would agree, 100%. Yeah. No, it looks fantastic. It's really, really awesome. Brilliant work there, Mike. He's in the chat. Hello, Mike.
Hey.
Next up, we have Travis Woodside with Ambles. Or Ambots.
Yep. One or the other.
One or the other. I can't remember exactly which ones they are. He will correct me because he is in the chat. But these are, I think, amongst some of the prettiest models that that Games Workshop has made. For, well, one for Necromunda, but also for I think the entire setting of 40k. And secondly, I think Travis has done an exceptional job.
Oh, incredible job, because they are very pretty models, but I reckon if you didn't approach them in the right way, they could probably look fairly bland or samey, because lots of just sort of flat arm panels, even though there is variation in them. But the way you've put an extra accents on here and there, you've put in weathering, you've put in like painted bits underneath the armor as well. Obviously the hazard stripes look great, but bits of rust here and there, like everything is just so well thought out that you look at it, you go, yeah, that's an amble, that's an ambot. And because it looks so convincing and so realistic that it just inhabits the world, when he's probably taken a lot of care and time and thought to think about, okay, what parts do I paint? What do I show here and there? What do I weather? How do I weather it? And there's so much hidden choices that have been made here, and they're then being executed so well, and they're hidden just because they look natural. They look obvious.
Yeah. No, definitely. I always the thing I like most about this paint job, and consequently these models as well, is they look like they come out of something from like that sort of mid-noughties fascination with junkyard sci-fi.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I just watched District 9 over the weekend, and they probably wouldn't look out of place.
Yeah, so things like District 9, but also like even if you go even a little bit further back, like something like Firefly or whatever, it's that they capture that, and so like there's during that time there was a lot of like I said junkyard sci-fi. Think of things like Mad Max and stuff like that. To capture that kind of vibe of the slightly darker side of that, the more junkyard sci-fi type thing, is really very, very impressive. And I think they're just lovely models, with an incredibly well executed paint job, which is fantastic to see. So thank you so much for submitting them, Travis. And I hope you are almost fully recovered from your nerve damage, sir.
Can I look after your nerves?
What was that, sorry?
I was just saying, definitely look after your nerves. I've got a friend who's dealing with something with that, and yeah, it can be a lot to recover from. So to know you're on the mend. Good.
It says, "You're welcome. I am good." Exactly. That's exactly what I want to hear, Travis. Yeah. Now he's got to finish that gnash tooth. Yes, you do, because your painting is a gift for all of us to see. Next up, below average minis. I think this is a debutante. Pretty certain. We have a Stormcast Annihilator, which obviously made me very excited to see. Because it's the Stormcast Eternals, and they're the best around. Nothing's ever going to bring them down. And the thing I really like about this as well is, and I don't know if this is exactly what you were going for below average minis, but you've gone for like a very kind of like high contrast, non-metallic metal style type thing going on here, which I really love as a concept. Not like the idea of it, as in like as a high concept for the execution of a paint job across an army. I really, really like it. I think it's really nice, and it's incredibly well executed, which is
it was funnily enough, because the picture is a bit smaller. I was like, oh yeah, there's a lovely painted Stormcast, and then I zoomed in and I went, wait, it's non-metallic metal. Like I did not realize at first that it was all non-metallic metal until you actually bring the model closer and go, wow, that's like I didn't. And I've just been basically just zooming in and out of this image, being like, yep, zoom out, totally metallic, zoom in, non-metallic. I can pick it out, but from a distance, you do not see it at all. It just looks just like a really lovely gold paint job. So, non-metallic metal, I think I tried a very long time ago, probably very badly, and I haven't returned to it since because it is such a hard thing to pull off. And the recipe you've done here, both on the grey and on the gold, looks utterly convincing, and like also just like a lovely combination of colours that you've chosen. So yeah, props.
I love as well that you've done it. He's in the chat. Hello, below average minis. Or I should say they're in the chat. I shouldn't assume. I love that you've gone for like a volumetric. Well, it's volumetric highlighting, isn't it? That's what they call it.
Yeah.
But you've done it across everything on the miniature as well. So one of the things I think sometimes non-metallic metal or volumetric highlighting schemes can sometimes fall down is you have volumetric stuff on the bit that somebody knows how to do, like the silver or the gold, but then you might have like just quite a flat red panel or quite a flat black panel or something like that. Just another like a third color or fourth color or fifth color that they haven't done the same thing or kept to the same technique or concept. And that then kind of that bit then ends up being the bit you look at.
I guess it's a probably more difficult transition for small miniature painters than other people sometimes, because I mean, working out where reflections are of metal can be really difficult if you're not used to doing that. So trying to work out not only just, I mean, volumetric highlighting is one step in and of itself because we're used to edge highlighting from doing the sort of the GW way. So then to transition to doing volumetric highlights is hard enough on its own, but then to transition from that jump into then doing volumetric highlights with metallic reflections and then working out where those would be if you don't have a clear reference, which you often don't because you're painting a fantasy miniature, is another highlight. It's just like another leap as well that I'm always so impressed when I see very, very convincing non-metallic metal, because it's not just like going from edge highlighting to non-metallic metal. You actually need to do that middle step first to work out how volumes work, and then you go on to the next step. And yeah, it's always so impressive. But like you said, always important to remember that second step with the rest of the model that isn't metallic as well.
Yeah. See, I thought buying this, right, for those of you who can see, I thought buying this might help me like kind of figure out where some of those shadows and stuff might fall on some form of like on metallics and stuff. But then because Heragrim has two of the what I can't remember what they're called, the runnels in the blade, it actually doesn't do the shadows quite as well as you might hope. And then also because the light that I end up working under quite often is well, it's paint light, so I'm flooding my entire area with light. You go, well, I wonder where the shadows are going to fall on this blade. They don't, because there are no shadows in this room.
Yeah, because you've got the setup so you don't get shadows on your miniatures when you photograph them.
Exactly. Excellent job, below average minis. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. Next up, we have Mini Painting Dad.
I mean, talking about great photography, and this is some fantastic photography.
Yes.
And obviously, fantastic miniatures as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so, Mini Painting Dad just, he understood the assignment of character. He went for Canis Rex.
Yeah, that's what you do.
and it's such a I don't see enough Canis Rexes. See, painted as Canis Rex. It's because, unfortunately, I think when Canis Rex dropped as a model, everyone was like, "Oh, the Knight Preceptor's really good," but Canis Rex is a bit crap.
It always changes every edition, anyway.
Well, yeah. So to see a Canis Rex in the flesh is wonderful. It looks fantastic, but also, we have a Ballistus Dreadnought as well, in the colours of the First Legion. It's very, very impressive.
Lots of very, very popular with the Dark Angels this evening. I mean, excellent transfer work across both of these. Obviously, great to see the Canis Rex. I love the extra detail that you put into the base and how you've actually got the barbed wire running up his legs as well. That's very cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of lovely clean paint jobs here. I love the sort of like weathered highlighting that you've done on the Dreadnought as well. So it's almost like you've done a highlight, but you've sort of chipped it as you do it. So it gives that impression of weathering without having to sort of go back and go over again.
Yeah, they're like sort of new off the factory floor, but not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also some with like the green armor on the Dreadnought. It took me a moment to sort of see it as well, because you look at it and you go, yeah, that's lovely green armor, but you actually look at it further and it has a lot more tonality than just being painted flat green as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some darker parts of the arm panels and lighter parts as well, which is, it really sells the model as being much more realistic than just a flat armor panel.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And like the silver as well. I can't get over how he's done the silver, but you do have the white paneling going on there as well. So there is it's just really nice. It's beautifully shiny and brilliantly well done mini painting, Dad. It looks incredible.
It's like a very almost like soft finish to the silver as well.
Yeah.
I would guess you did some of like the green and the on the left and the silver on the right. I'm guessing an airbrush helped you out with this, because it's easier to achieve those sort of soft finishes. But if you did do it by brush, incredible work either way. But I do not think I could ever replicate such finishes as these with just a brush alone.
No, I mean even I don't think I would. It's just it's beautifully well done. It's excellent
models.
work. Excellent work. Love to see it. Right, next up, Dudex, who also understood the assignment by producing the other one of the biggest characters in Warhammer 40,000, the Silent King. Well,
indeed. I mean, he's such an impressive model. I love especially the OSLs on here. They're always, very eye-catching. Something that I know works really well in the past and I've shied away from doing because it's another chore to sort of learn how to do it. But here, executed really well, really lends itself to the model. It's such an impressive model, isn't it?
Yeah. It is a beautifully impressive model. He's the only one that, it was between him and the Void Dragon that I was like, maybe I could fall in love with Necrons. Obviously I've painted both, and there's videos on the channel where you can see them. But
they are great
I think it's it's beautiful, and like the cape is my favorite part about Zarek. Not Zarek, sorry. Yeah, it is Zarek, the Silent King. Have I got that right?
Yeah. So is Zarakan the?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, Zarakan is the name of the dynasty.
The name of the
Silent King. Yeah. So he's done an incredible job on that cape, and I love it.
Well, it's also got like that metallic sheen.
Yeah.
It's got that metallic sheen to it, which is like so perfectly like Necron.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's my favourite part of it, and you've executed it brilliant because he does have a metal cape, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I would guess he's maybe done that in sub-assembly as well. He may not have, in case he's a madman like all of us are that don't do sub-assembly, but I'm guessing sub-assembly because I know that metallic, I'm assuming it's a color that's done over like a silver, or maybe you found a great metallic paint, I don't know, but most of the time it's, you paint on silver, then you paint another color over it, and that is so hard to correct if you like accidentally overbrush some you're painting another part of the model and getting a bit of paint on already done effect. It's you either do it last or you sub-assembly because it's just so hard to properly correct that I know that I would mess it up.
Yeah, I did mine in sub-assembly. I know I don't normally.
One of the few models.
Yeah, I don't normally, but on this occasion I very much did. And like you said, you've already pointed it out. The OSL here is on point. The trapped Catan looks fantastic. Yeah, it's just
like it's not just OSL, but it's OSL to that sort of fluorescent extent, which often requires unique paints. You can buy fluoro paints, or you can get stuff like Tesseract Glow and whatnot. White undercoating often helps get that brightness up as well. But yeah, there's lots of like tips and tricks of how to do OSL properly. But it's getting that value, so that brightness as high as it needs to be and as high as you've done here. Really, really sells the effect.
Yeah. Hello, Werewolf 40k says, hello all. Work has been nuts the past 2 months. Happy I could join this. Missed the interactions. Well, welcome back. I'm sorry that work's been hard. And also, hello to you, Go For It Painting. Hello. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Dudex. Incredible, Zarek. Next up, Texas Wargaming with an offering from Conquest, the last argument of kings, I'm pretty certain.
I say I don't recognize this.
No, I didn't recognize it myself at first. And
I'm going from the bright OSL, we've gone back into sort of dark and brooding and menacing, and I love it.
I'm pretty certain I can't remember its exact name, but I'm close to certain that it's from Conquest, the last argument of kings, which is a game that really interests me, because I think more and more I see of it, the more and more I like it.
It's definitely a very intriguing model as well. I'm just trying to pick out which one of these faces is actual face, or is it somewhere in between?
Or is it both? I think.
Or is it both?
I think it's the one in the middle.
It could be weird mutations.
I can find out. I can go and find out towards the end of the stream. Have to open the Google form. Hang on, let me do that. Let me see if I can find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I was just going to say the fire effect done very well, but also then the subtle variations you have between the different shades of brown and black and sort of the naturalistic stone as well, and all the different things you picked out. It really ties the sort of the mood and the theme of this sort of model and this piece together. I'm not sure if that's the normal base for it, but it's very cool basing, and I don't know whether you've got that from somewhere else, but if there is special basing supply that you have that does very cool bases like this, or whether you've done it maybe there's done by Green Stuff Roller, I'm not sure, but let us know if you're in the chat, and you let us know how you did the basing, because there's some very cool textures on there, or if it just comes like that as a part of the model.
I believe it's called an Archimandrite.
Ooh.
Is what I've just looked it up. Dark Souls vibes. Love it, says Pete McAfee. Yeah, definitely Dark Souls vibes. And also Werewolf 40k, thank you very much for the 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. That is very kind of you.
Of us.
Alaric says, is your Heragrim a United Cutlery one? No, it's not. I got it from Etsy. Go on Etsy and look it up. I realise I'm now playing with it because, as I've talked about a little bit, and I've been hinting at, not very, as I've been talking about in various different places, I'm learning more and more about my neurospiciness, and I like to fiddle with things. And one of them is this, which is one of the reasons why I've got it now, is I like to play with it. And so I will do things like just pull it out the sheath.
So
literally
you
to
can
make the
totally
noise.
write it off as a business expense then, because you need this to do your job.
Yeah, basically, I'm stimming with it right now.
Yeah.
I got it because it was really cheap as well, and it makes me feel cool.
Yeah, go for it.
With our perspective, it feels like you're going to swing the sword and shatter your case. I'll put it down. I'll stop playing with it. I'll play with the actual. I just like it because it makes that noise, so I can go like this. Oh, isn't that cool? Anyway,
Very cool.
I'll play with the actual. So I've got this. It's a little cube. Problem is it makes noise. So I'll play with this instead to keep my hands occupied whilst I'm trying to concentrate on this. Sometimes I swim with scissors, then start to think I'm going to clip off my nose, and I put them down. Stim with scissors, not swim with scissors. Swim with scissors. I was like, James.
Like, how? Why would you swim with scissors? I mean, it's possible, but why?
Yeah. So I shall use my cube. But yeah, no, this is a really cool little miniature. Like I said, I've not seen this one before. It's a complete surprise for me. And like everyone's saying in the chat, it's a bit of a Dark Souls vibe going on there, which is really nice. I'm always a big fan. And like I said, it's painted brilliantly. It's got a really nice dark vibe to it. You need an Ono roller, silent fidgets. Yeah, I wanted to buy one, but they're like 60 quid. So I was like, I can't. So I bought this because I like the noises. But yeah, awesome work, Texas Wargaming. Next up, we have Laura with teeny tiny victories. So you've done this for Salute, is that correct?
This is a bucket of madness. What is this?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. So Laura, I think maybe you need to explain it in chat, because it's really cool. I like it a lot, and you know, I was kind of trying. I think people were talking about it in the Discord of trying to figure out what parts you were using. Yeah, I've been kind of looking at it going, well, that one's a lid, and then that's about as much it. Is it like a soap lid or something that you've used for most of it?
Yeah, it looks like a plunger to like a hand sanitizer dispenser almost. One of those sort of things for the can on top. But looking at the finished product, I'm not sure if this is a chaos thing or not, but I can't help but looking at this and go, oh, Doom Rider's finally got a car. Like that's the immediate vibes that it gives me.
Yeah.
Just sort of out there and off the wall. That it would totally be a Doom Rider sort of type thing if it were intended to be so.
It's really, 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 really cool. I just bought some bits to build Tonks just last night. That's awesome. Texas Wargaming is in the chat. Did I get it right as to what it is? Hello, Texas Wargaming. Thank you very much for your submission. It's really cool. There are bottle caps, bits of sprue, nail art gems. I almost said germs. Nail art germs. Cool. Oh man, there's a lot to look at, and I really like this. And I feel like this is missing from Warhammer. This type of thing is missing from Warhammer. They used to support this type of thing. Like, so you think of like looted vehicles and stuff.
Yep.
That used to be a very cool thing that you could do. And I don't know if you still can.
Yeah, there was always these old White Dwarf articles up like, oh yeah, here's the base model of how you can put together, but here's a White Dwarf article about people going crazy and making crazy things that just have their, how to piece this bit from over there and this bit over here, and we've created something like nuts. Does it have a profile? No. So we're going to write one and put it in the White Dwarf article with it. And if you want to recreate it and have madness, go for it. Like, that is just such a cool part of the hobby. I will say, if you do want to see other scratch-built stuff, we've got a friend who does do some scratch-built stuff. So if you look up Ollie Missick on Instagram, he's put a couple of his posts on there. Again, there are loads of conversions, loads of scratch built parts that he uses, and this, it reminded me of that, and you can sometimes see the before and the after. He's recently been doing space orcs, so orcs as if they were wearing like space race type of like literally like costumes, and he's got clear helmets for them and all this sort of stuff. Incredible. I always love seeing someone take the time and the effort to build something from practically scratch or cobble together it from different conversions. I mean, this just looks fantastic.
Your paint job gives me a real FNAF vibe. Laura, I hope that's not like a Five Nights at Freddy's type thing, or like any one of those other mascot horror things that we've seen a tradition of a trend of in gaming very recently. It's really, really
I will
cool.
say as well, we've talked a little bit before about OSL and reflections, and here on the tentacles is a perfect example of both, where there's this sort of OSL from so these glowing crystals, but you can tell it's not just here is a little bit of OSL around, which is one of the easiest way to do it, but here you've taken it to the actual level where you've gone, no, here is a reflective surface, like the tentacle that's a little bit further away, and because it's more reflective and more shiny, it reflects the light, so I'm going to paint the blue on it, even though there's not blue in between here and the light source, which it just comes across as so realistic and is a really great way to do it. Really, really lovely paint job on top of being such a cool custom miniature.
Yeah, it's great. She says she didn't even glue anything to herself either, which is always
wow,
a
very
plus
impressive.
Sign. No, excellent job. Really, really nice. Really cool stuff.
Wonderful stuff.
Thank you, Laura. Next up, Kawaii Fieri with Watch Captain Halgrim from Cursed City.
Very nice.
And I said to myself, as soon as I saw that, I went, oh, it's Watch Captain Halgrim. And then I went, why do I still have that name in my head?
It's another one of those just pieces of information. Honestly, it's like, there are a lot of names to remember, but you do remember quite a lot of names of like miniatures, especially if they're AOS related or whatever, like all the box sets they were released in. You're pretty good for those names, I'd say.
That's the neuro spiciness right there, Rich.
That'll be it.
That as I'm learning, that's what that is.
Yep.
But there's nothing neuro spicy about Watch Captain Halgrim here. I really like this guy. I think he was a particular highlight of mine from Cursed City, because it's just it's a heroic skeleton, and like
I love the way they did these skeleton, like when they resculpted the skeletons to look like this. Love them. In particular about this model that you've done here, I really love the dark armor that you've gone for here. It just really captures the vibe and the aesthetic, but has got some great sort of like little subtle highlights on there as well. Obviously the cloak looks fantastic too, but just the metals and like the wood grain that you've got going on as well is, there's just like so many like little bits about this miniature that I keep looking at and pointing out. Even like the difference between like the blade of the halberd versus the rest of the halberd, you've done a slightly different color. There's also little like subtle things here that really make the miniature come alive.
I completely agree. We have a couple of things in chat. Starpilot94 has gifted 20 of the finest Warhipster memberships, so massive thank you to Starpilot94.
Yeah.
And also says, hello, what a way to announce yourself.
Hello indeed. Welcome.
Hello, Starpilot94. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And Elec Man asks, for the Battleline requirement, can it be a Battleline if unit or just a basic Battleline? Yeah, Battleline if counts. Absolutely it does. They're not so much rules, they're more guidelines.
Exactly that. We don't care too much about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, in the big thing months, I painted some of the small miniatures in my collection, so you're fine.
Yeah. And then Kawaii Fieri is in the chat and says, it's green, then black, then green highlights, then dry brushed with bronze. And that is a fantastic idea. I love that.
Yeah, that's great. There's so much depth in it's got that thing where you look at it and you go, "Oh, that's a color," and then you look at it more and you're like, "Wait a minute, that's it's kind of like tricking my eyes as to which color it is." And yeah, it's got a great finish to it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And like I said, he for me was a real highlight from Curse City. So to see him execute so beautifully is a real treat. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
For submitting.
Great work.
It's excellent. It's just excellent. Like you said, I really like the heaviness of the armor. There feels like a real weight to it.
Yeah.
Which is well, it's like, I think Games Workshop sculpts that in to its skeletons quite a lot.
To a certain extent, but you also do need to make it look the part as well.
Exactly. So like they generally tend to wear like kind of battered but quite heavy suits of armor and stuff, especially in the newer stuff like the Death Rattle that were in that box. And Halgrim, of course, is wearing basically almost full plate. So to capture it so well with the dark industrial metal colours is just brilliant. It's really nice. Really, really, really well done.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much. Next up, GW really has the bones angled right to the plate. Wait, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's excellent. I love it. Next up, Dana. She's in the chat. Warhammer Mama with a... Oh, God, what's it called? A Zangor Sorcerer? Is a Zangor Sorcerer.
Shaman, I
Zangor
think,
Shaman.
maybe?
Yes.
You'd be, yeah.
Yes.
Zangor Shaman on disc.
And we have a bright and beautiful Zangor Shaman right here.
Very bright, very beautiful.
Yes.
Like the feathers on the headdress, like the color change you've got going on there is fantastic. But then such like a bright and vibrant disc as well. Like if we talk about luminosity before, this one is just absolutely popping out of the screen with it. It's like the color choices here are, it's very Tzeentchian, but for like how bright and colorful they are.
Yeah, it is a riotous color of Tzeentch,
sure.
right there. Like
as is only should be befitting the Lord of Change.
Exactly. I really love the use of colors that are going on here, especially within the feathers. The shock of yellow closer to the skull, but then blending out into the darker blue. That it doesn't ever at any point get lost within the blue of the skin.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like sometimes those effects, you can do those, and it's like this really bright color transition, but then that's the only thing on the miniature that draws the eye because it's got such a difference in value to the rest of the miniature. But because you've got other shots of bright color, both with the skin and then on the disc as well, it's more of actually like a balanced composition, I want to say, because you've got the bright colors and other points in the miniature as well.
Yeah, and then a real highlight for me. in painting puns, I realise we don't do enough of them. A real highlight for me is in Figure D, is the eye of the statue of the staff. Just you've got different colours going on in there, in and amongst the metallic, which is just so Tzeentchian. I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great.
Such fine, like great detail work, because it's all great to have these big popping colors, but then when you look into it up close, when it's drawn your eye and you pick it up and look into it, you do see those extra details and the small transitions as well, which is great to see.
And maybe you even get a glimpse of the great game. You don't want one, but you might if you look too closely.
Then suddenly you find you're a spawn.
Yeah, again, missing from 10th edition 40k. There needs to be more. There always needs to be mechanics to turn things or people into spawn, because it's funny.
It was not myself, but at a tournament that I was running, or some sort of games day, someone loved to push the envelope with what Araman could cast. I think this was maybe back in 7th or 8th edition, I can't remember. But basically, in order to turn Araman into a spawn, they had to roll a double 1, then they could get to reroll some of that, and then also would have to roll another one with that. So basically roll 3 or 4 ones in a row. They did it, and Aramon turned into a spawn.
Yes. Love it. I did love doing this. Love color. No, your placement of color is fantastic on this, Dana. It's really, really, really well executed, and you've chosen a beautiful palette. And it looks as though with Tzeentch sometimes it looks as though the palette doesn't make any sense, and at times it doesn't with Tzeentch. Like the Lord of Change's color palette does not make any sense. Neither does Kairos Fate Weavers. But to capture that so beautifully on a Zangor Shaman, it's top work. It's top work. Really excellent. Nicely done. And thank you very much for your first submission. We hope to see many more over the coming episodes. But obviously don't feel any pressure whatsoever. it's more guidelines.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like if any of you are watching and are sort of apprehensive about submitting, you haven't felt like you haven't been here from the start and don't want to submit anything, please do submit. We want to see all your amazing miniatures. Everything that you send us will be much appreciated. We just want to have more cool stuff to talk about, really. So
exactly,
please submit.
And then it motivates me to do season 3. I'm just putting it out there. If you want season 3, you got to keep submitting.
Yeah.
I will also just say a very quick thank you very much for 46 likes on the stream so far, guys. 4 more and we hit our first target.
Yeah.
Hashtag
almost there.
Just saying. But thank you very much, Dana, for submitting. Next up, we have Sylvester of Terror, another debutante, with Conrad Curze.
Looking very gory and gruesome.
Yes. Conrad's he's clearly had many an argument very recently here.
I was going to say a night on the town, but could have been both.
Or a night on the town, yeah. Defeating criminals.
Yep.
As we know Conrad likes to do. No life is sacred to Conrad Curze as opposed to Batman.
That's not a flesh cape at all.
No, exactly. He is. I've never seen it looking. One thing I really appreciated about Sylvester's pictures is it shows the size of him, because normally, like the pictures on Games Workshop website, make Conrad Curze's miniature look tiny. Same as the same as like things like Fulgrim, like not transfigured, absolutely not transfigured, but like the original Fulgrim miniature, they look really small. But to see these pictures look, one sees the size of him, which is imposing, but also the paint job is very imposing as well. He has captured Conrad Curze in all of his gruesome glory.
Yeah, I mean, it is to have like, it's enough to have just like a bit of blood spatter here and there, but to have like it soaked into the base of the miniature basically really, really sells that effect.
Looks like he might be about to have an argument with an ogre. Yeah, a very strong disagreement with an ogre.
We'll bring back Dave's man-eater, they can have a one-to-one.
The thing I really liked about this as well is it very much gave me motivation to still plow on with the Night Lords I've been painting.
You're doing Night Lords at the moment.
The last couple of days. So I was very appreciative of that. And two, I really love that shade of blue in Midnight Clad.
It's one of the shades that I've found it's hard to find a good GW paint for it sometimes. I know in the past they used to do, I think it might have been Midnight Blue, and then maybe it's just because I haven't had that paint in my collection, or I've tried to find it and it's been out of stock or whatnot, but it's always been hard for me to find like a true dark blue, not just like a blue black, but a dark blue.
Yeah, I think I've got a pretty good recipe for you.
Nice.
You'll find out on Thursday if I can get the bloody video done.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a really, really nice. He said, I thought I'd have a go at submitting for the first time and a Primarch. So Yeah, I mean you've done a really really nice job here, Sylvester.
I mean, what a way to kick off with the Primarch.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. It's a really really nice paint job as well. Like I said,
Yeah.
it is the violence and um the violence and the lethality of Conrad is captured beautifully.
That's the one.
In the mood of the model. So seriously, well done. Of course, you need to finish the Night Lords, Josh. No matter how exhausting it is, after all, death is nothing compared to vindication. Okay, Alec, man, I promise. I'll be painting till 5
Death
a.m.
or trim. Death or trim.
Death by trim.
Death by trim. Yeah,
yeah.
that might also be a way to do it.
No. Awesome. Thank you, Sylvester. Next up, Mind Guardian with a lovely blend of things. We have, firstly, the Custodes ones. We have the Blade Champion. We have Trajan Valorous. And we have Ixion Hale. We also have Pedro Cantor. And we have a Primaris Captain that has been adapted from the White Consoles guy. His name will appear to me in just a moment. Can't remember it off the top of my head though.
Not coming to mind.
Yeah, no, can't remember. Anyway, here we are. We have a lovely raft of characters, and I know that Jack loves his Crimson Fists, really does, and it asked me for a long time to paint him. And I just haven't ever have found the time, unfortunately, to get to Cantor.
It's such a classic paint scheme that you don't see often enough, I think.
Yeah. It's a lovely blue, isn't it? Which has been executed brilliantly across both the models. But the gold as well, the richness of the gold on those Custodes, it's enough to make me blush. I love a good gold.
Gold is very good, but I was going to say the axes and the lightning effect you've done on those has got to be one of the best examples that I've ever seen of it. The color transitions that you've got in those lines, because a lot of people do like the lines and sort of to represent the power weapons, but the fact that you've got the color blends between them as well really sells that effect so well. Like I said, one of the best examples that I've ever seen of it. It looks stunning.
Yeah, they're great. He's in the chat. Thanks, y'all. Hello, mate. Yeah, no, you've done an incredible work. What was it you called the? What is the Captain Messinius? That's it. Is the white console? Yes. Yes. I've painted that miniature. See, I don't remember them all.
True.
My brain can't.
The AOS ones, you remember most of them.
I try to, because otherwise people would be like, "Ha, not so much a fan, are you, Mister the Warhipster?"
What is it? Age of Sigmar, mighty battles in the age of unending darkness. Is it?
Unending war.
Unending war. Always got it.
Age of Sigmar, mighty battles in an age of unending war. To give it its full title.
Yep.
Nero spicy for AOS, not 40k. I don't blame you. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm discovering many things about myself. I'm still playing with my cube. You'll be here. You'll be glad to hear. You've probably been able to hear it the entire time. But yeah, no. To echo what you're saying, like the paint job on those axes, man, spot on. Really, really nice. And I really love the blue you've achieved on the Crimson Fist. It's really good. It's really, really nice. This is because I was struggling a little bit with Night Lords, right? Because I was like, how do I get that blue? And Leviathan blue felt like it was obviously the obvious choice. Having painted one before for the Heresy stuff that I did, I used Celestium blue in that one. But then I was like, well, the 40k ones don't look like either of those, really. And I didn't want them to look like Crimson Fists. So I ended up going for something different. But the blue you've done here is really, really nice. If you have time, Jack, Alessio Cortez, he is/was the captain of Third Company of the Crimson Fists. There you go. I knew the name was on the tip of the tongue. That's what he's named him. If you could drop in the chat just now what the recipe for that blue is. I think I have an idea, but I'm not entirely certain. That would be really kind of you. But I think you've done a really good job as well on the reds of the Custodes cloaks.
Yeah, it's funnily enough, for being so similar, they are very different reds as well. One's a bit more bright, and then obviously a darker one too.
Yeah, and the feather as well on Trajan, really well done.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the little bits like silver highlighting that you picked out, and the depth that you've given to the gold, both in highlighting and in shading, really works well. And then obviously that translates into all the reds and blues that you've got on the Crimson Fists as well. Just like you've taken the extra step to really give these models the love and the care that they deserve, and it is much appreciated because it really does help sell the overall look of the miniature.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thank you very much, Jack. Next up, Skarbrand with Skarbrand. He submitted it saying a bit of a self-portrait. And I was like, man, this is so
love
good.
how many skulls there are as well on the base. Like this is the appropriate amount of skulls for Skarbrand to be standing on.
There could be more.
That's when you put them on a diorama base. For this base, we'll go with this amount of skulls, and then what you do is you take this base, you build an entire like army of armies on parade thing around them, just of skulls, and then you put them into like a little slot in that.
8 out of 10, not enough skulls. No, man, no. Honestly, I am kidding.
No,
that's only 2 boxes of skulls. Only 2 boxes of skulls.
Only 2. I was going to ask how many there were because I did notice like there's obviously the big skull and behind his legs as well. So I was like, I can see where you've got from, but like how many boxes worth? But 2, that's an appropriate amount. I can still see some base through there though.
It's incredible, man. Honestly, it's really, really, really well done. Skarbrand. Firstly, let me compliment you, sir, on not gluing the shoulder pad on the wrong arm.
Who would do that?
I don't know. An idiot. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, the instructions say the other side, don't they? So you just put it on the other side.
I was very tired, and I glued it on the wrong arm. And we could all move on from that. It's not like there's a video that has immortalized that forever on the internet. Firstly, let me congratulate you on not doing that. Secondly, let me congratulate you on your paint job. Because I love Skarbrand. I love him. I love his miniature. I love the ragged wings. It's one of my favourite things in the range of demons. Hands down. Be'lakor takes the top spot, but Skarbrand is definitely up there. Probably in my top 3. And you've executed it absolutely beautifully. It looks wonderful. In your defense, you were left unsupervised. Exactly. I'm constantly left unsupervised. It's honestly, no, we can't move on, Josh. Oh no. I always remind people that's what I did. Yeah, It honestly, I love it so much, and I love how much extra effort you've gone to on the base.
Yeah, but extra effort like in the paint job itself, like the striations you've got with the muscles. Really, there's just so much love and extra care that has gone into this. Yeah, I mean it's befitting because it is your namesake, so you'd better put that. If you're gonna put that extra love and care into anything, it's got to be this model, right?
Yeah. But you've just it's so lovely. It's a real treat to look at, and I keep seeing more and more as I look at it more and more. As the mini creative has just said, I just noticed Skarbrand has very spiky buttocks. Indeed, he does.
That he does.
It's best not to think too much about it, because if you do, you'll get uncomfortable.
You don't need to go into the logistics of how that works.
But I really love how you've done Slaughter and Carnage as well. The 2 axes for the uneducated, the uninitiated, I should say. And just because they've got that kind of vibrancy of the pink in there. You've blended it into the metal of it. It's just really, really well done, man. Honestly, it's perfect. It's a perfect Skarbrand. Skarbrand. That's all I can say, honestly. Yeah,
No.
I love it. I love it very, very much. Thank you so much for submitting it. It's a real, like I said, it's a real treat for the eyes to look at. Yeah, wonderful stuff. We must move on, however. Next up, we have Tuka with... Normally, I wouldn't hold with this kind of muck. However, this is a beautiful Chaos Lord on Manticore. When I say muck, I mean converting Cities of Sigmar into the Fallen Gods, not the paint job. The paint job is fantastic. But, honestly...
Look, if the model says Chaos Lord Manticore and there's Manticore elsewhere in the range...
Exactly.
You know? It's just asking for it, really. This is such a genius conversion, and I don't know why we haven't seen it before.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen it, so you win. As far as I'm concerned, you invented it, and
it is now yours.
It is now yours, and I'm saying that now live on stream. Even if somebody else out there is saying I did this first, doesn't matter. It's not immortalized on a live stream, is it? Tuka did it first, and it is beautiful. It is so 100%. Well done, and it looks fantastic. Honestly, it's brilliant. It's really, really, really brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, just like it's sort of like the cold, like wintry vibes you've got going from it, but then from like the extra this we've seen this before with Tuka's miniatures, that they have such great color choices that really lend to the feel of the miniature. To have that like very dark, almost sort of unplated bug-like scorpion's tail, then the light feathery wings. You've got the cold blue from the robes, even like the gold on there lends to that. You've got the sort of glowing green eyes as well. Just very like smart but well placed color choices that then, you know, when put together with like the wintry basing, it all just comes together in a really, really nice package.
Yeah, I looked at this and when I was putting the pack together, and I was like, there it is, Norska. This is the embodiment of this. This to me is like, this is so classic Chaos, right? Especially from Warhammer Fantasy Battles. To see a Chaos Lord on Manticore right there is it's brilliant. So like, honestly, like, you evoked a lot of very nostalgic feelings again for me. This is a very nostalgic stream tonight. Like I said, just looking at it, there's tough to find like a place to begin with just how well it's been executed. The eyes, for example, of the Chimera or the Manticore, really love it. Like the kind of glowing green of it kind of has that again, that sort of Northrend vibe, Wrath of the Lich King, World of Warcraft. He says, I'm from Finland, so I'm obligated to go with the cold theme for all my armies, for all my minis.
Hey, if it works, it works.
That is true. You are obligated, unfortunately. I think it's fantastic. And of course, we saw his Lord of Change last month. So there's just the little references to Tzeentch as well, particularly in the saddle.
I was going to say the saddle has that symbol of Tzeentch at the front, which, when you consider what the Lord is riding, you realize that it's actually perfectly married between the two. It's like, yeah, obviously this is a Tzeentchian creature. Have you looked at it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a lion that's now has bird wings and so on and so forth. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. It's a wonderful conversion, and it's just, yeah, I love it so much, man.
And the best thing about it is it's so obvious. Of course that's Tzeentch. Of course it's a Chaos Mount. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, great to see that someone's actually finally thought of that genius idea and has put it into the flesh in such a great way.
Fun fact, I drilled small magnets into both of his arms so I can change his weapons and remove his shield if I want. Nice.
I mean, that's fantastic.
More commitment than I would be willing to do. I've just seen Jack has been a member for 29 months. 7 more months to get to 3 years. Thanks for the kind words.
There you go.
3 years, man. That's a long time. It's a long time to support little old me, and I cannot thank you enough. You're an absolute legend.
Well, the channel birthday is not too far away, isn't it?
The
How
official.
many years have been going now?
So I founded the channel in like July, but I didn't start working on it properly until there's 2 anniversaries. There's the one where I actually started the channel, which was July 17th or something like that. But then there's November. And November 2019 was when I was like, I'm gonna do this.
I must have the channel one in my mind then, because I knew there was something sort of like July, August.
Yeah. July is a birthday, but the real like, hey, this is going to be my life. I'm going to make this my life was November, because it was after the Mephiston tutorial. I put the Mephiston tutorial out, and then that got thousands of views, and I was like, maybe I have talent.
It's like, wait, people actually like this? They'll actually watch it? It's like, yeah, they will.
Speaking of conversions, and after the watershed, someone sculpted an anatomically accurate Kragnos in the THWG Discord today. Great day for conversions.
You know, everyone can do their hobby in their way.
Oh my. But Tuka, thank you so much for this, because it is I've said this a couple of times now tonight, but this one really is a true treat to see, especially the debut of such a great conversion, which I'm sure many people will copy going forward, having seen this stream, because they'll be like, hey, that guy knows what he's doing. I've just seen that we are 3 likes off from the magic number now on the stream, guys. 66 likes. Can we get 3? Firstly, well done for blowing past 50. Awesome work.
Yeah.
But 3 more and we get to the magic number. And then after it, it's 100, which is exciting for different reasons.
Yeah.
But honestly,
you got to get to the magic number first.
Yeah.
That's the one that really matters.
It's really well done. It's really, really well done. I love it. I love it so much. Like I said, I normally don't hold with this kind of thing. I'm like, well, I said muck. I don't normally hold this kind of thing. But you've convinced me. Because if someone would say to me, oh, I'm thinking of doing this, I'd be like, no, do it as Talia Vedra.
Hey, it's not a 40k model. It's still within the same system, you know.
Exactly.
It's Chaos, Tzeentch. You're allowed.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's great. It's lovely stuff. I try to lower the tone. We can lower the tone if that's what we're saying. I just won't get monetized if we lower the tone too much.
We'll just invite Rich back on.
Yeah. Where is he? I'm surprised he's not jumped into the chat. I will berate him. But no, thank you very much, Tuka. Next up, we have James Matthias. There's two slides here. So, firstly, we have this one, which is the actual miniatures, and I'll show you the next one in just a minute, because he's gone above and beyond this this month. Absolutely, he has. We have Raptors Kill Team.
I mean, I always love to see Raptors, and these are a great rendition of them. I have to say, definitely contender for Gary Lineker Crispy Award, because my god, those highlights are crisp and looking lovely. Also, the extra effort that you've gone into the bases, always appreciated as well. But just like the detail and the care and the control that you have, like these aren't just like, oh, I've done some highlights. These are very controlled, well-placed highlights that are very clean, very impressive.
Yeah, no, I absolutely echo that. Raptors is such a lovely scheme, and that the green is just it's so tonally different to the other greens that Games Workshop has as their mainline chapters. That I'm genuinely surprised we haven't seen more Raptors since they're now on every transfer sheet. Which is,
honestly, like one of my they'll probably be in like top 5 chapters, I'd say, for me. They've always looked great. I also want to point out, like, there's so much extra detail here that, like, the more I look at the miniatures, the more I see the guy right at the back. You've hidden him from us, but he's just there enough so we can see the blood on the chainsword, but also the kill count on the chainsword with all the little tally marks. Such tiny detail, but adds so much character to the miniature. I just adore it.
Yeah, The strip, in as the mini creative has just pointed out,
Yeah,
the strip in the studded pauldron looks great. Never seen that before. No, it does look wonderful.
Yeah.
But then also we have the stripe going across the heraldic tilting shield on the chest, on the sergeant.
That's the thing. Like you look at these miniatures and there's so much to find, so much to see that, yeah, you could just keep on staring at them and picking up on little extra bits.
Well, the good news is I'm going to show you the other slide now. Here it is.
Ooh.
This is what I mean by he's gone above and beyond.
Yeah, and now we see we see the details. I love the little breakout box at the bottom. Yeah, no, I mean this could easily. I'm sure this is just a squad in your army, but this could easily be a kill team because all the characters have so much, or all the models have so much character to them, that you've been able to put in there. So I love it.
I love your naming conventions right here. Double shot, headsman, rip, topper, alpha, and chip.
Yep.
I love that. I love that so much. They have names and nicknames. Exactly. It's multi-layered. This is Onion Warhammer right here.
There are layers.
Yeah,
you peel off a layer.
You keep peeling back layers, and you find even more to be delighted by. These are wonderful. It's a wonderful little graphic as well.
Yeah,
I really like it. Like I talked about how I really like the so in the where is it? I don't have it to hand. I don't think in the Nightmare box, Kill Team Nightmare box. I had a little look through that booklet in the in the box, and there's a really cool vibe to Kill Team that makes you feel like you're not part of 10th edition 40k, because I think 10th edition 40k at certain times is a little bit sanitized. To see the character though, especially on I think what models normally, a lot of people criticize Primaris Marines, Intercessors, for not being very characterful. However, one, you've painted in the character, which looks fantastic,
100%.
And two, you've actually put the love in here as well, which is just incredibly heartwarming. And it's that again, it's that part of Warhammer 40,000 that has been missing, and so it's to see it here before us, James. As you said, these are a kill team, and I'm writing a short story background for them. That is what Warhammer is all about, and it's my favourite thing in the world. I'm going to get passionate in just a minute. It's a good job I'm not throwing around Herogrim again.
Yep.
Honestly, hang on, let me see if I can find the book. Oh no, it's all the way over there. I'm not going to get up and go. Carl Apoggi has upgraded his membership to Warhipster. Thank you very much, Carl. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. But yeah, Greaves first, man. Like I've been watching Sharp, of course, the original Kill Team with the Chosen Men. So to then see something like this, James, was a real treat. Like you hit me at exactly the right moment where I was just like, ooh. I was having a proper look, and it kind of just evoked all those feelings about Warhammer 40,000 that I haven't felt for a long time.
No, it's one of my favorite parts as well. Like to see someone either create their own custom chapter, create their own lore, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're not playing chess, we're playing Warhammer because it's a narrative war game, and to really see the narrative sort of ooze out of these models, basically. Like we are already coming up with stories for them before you put names to them, and then you did that, and our minds have exploded with these, the possibilities of what sort of stories you could tell with them. Incredible to see. I always love to see it. I echo everything you said about Primaris. Potentially, when they first came out, people thought they looked a little more clean, sanitized. They definitely don't here because you've added all that extra character back in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm just going to very quickly do Colonel a favor here. Colonel, there you go. Don't tell anyone that you got that from me. But don't tell anyone. It's not me. It's not me. But if you want to watch Sharp, there you go. There's the first one. Yeah. So honestly, James, I love them as my own brothers. There you go. I honestly, James, you've captured something very, very special about what Warhammer means. I think to so many people, but here in the chat, but also
100%.
just so many people who are fans of the brand the world over. And thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's just really, really great. So thank you. Really great stuff. Thank you very much, James. But we must move on to Flying Muttley, who I think is in the chat, maybe? Yes, he is. There he is. Nice that my Phobos kill team as Raptors. We have a Free Guild Command Corps, and we have a Free Guild Iron World Great Cannon.
As you do. I mean, Flying Muttley stuff is always a joy to behold. The colour schemes that they use are always so lovely. I love how sort of neutral or sort of naturalistic they feel. But then you see these other pops of color from I don't know. You'll probably know this. The sort of like Dragon Dog, the name for that, and then also like the magic with this sort of vibrant luminescent green as well. It's color schemes always look great. Yeah. We said this last time out, where you capture a real kind of, like we said Turner-esque. I said Turner-esque last time out. Yeah,
it's a real Renaissance feel to your Cities of Sigmar, and it absolutely fits. You are going to have an incredible Dawnbringer Crusade. You must already look at it and go, yeah, I'm the Mutts nuts right here. The dog, this is the dog's danglers, as they say. These are amongst the best miniatures that Games Workshop has released in recent times, and you do them in such a way that it is so wonderful to see. And yeah, it's just cracking stuff, Flying Muttley. Honestly, I'm so envious of your. It's getting there, still putting off the Cav and Zenestra. Well, I don't blame you on Zenestra and the Cav. They do look intimidating, but trust me, once you get started, I know in your ability to make these things look fantastic, you're going to do an incredible job. And James
the
also
thing with
says,
the Cities of Sigmar models, I was going to say, is that they look like they're made for dioramas.
Yes.
Like if you look at like the Great World Cannon, it looks like it's a mini diorama. And just thinking back to like the Cavalier Marshal as well, it's made basically for dioramas. They're such great models.
I was just going to say, James says, thank you all for such nice comments. I'm over the moon. Well, you should be. You
should be.
You've brought an element of class to this stream right here, James.
Just as we were sort of starting to dig down a bit, you were like, nope, back up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like these just look. Your choice of color, your choice of shading, your choice of highlighting is always just on point with these, man. Honestly. Flying Muttley, stop! You make me want to do cities. I think everyone is going to end up at some point doing a Cities of Sigmar army, especially if they end up getting a wave 2.
Oh god, yeah. If they get a wave 2, then it's going to be very, very dangerous for sure.
Well, I mean, there's just stuff from the Cities of Sigmar range that I look at and I go, I think something's missing from this. Like some form of.
Oh no, there's. As someone like my first Warhammer Fantasy army was Empire, so these are very tempting. And there's definitely like, you could get like some instead of like some steel helms, something similar, but with like great swords or halberds or something like that. Or you could add in like this, or you could add in like that, or you could. There's so much more they could add to it that when they do eventually get the second wave, it's going to be very hard to resist. That's for sure.
Stooges just bought the Spearhead box. Good. You're going to have a great time with it. It's excellent work, Flying Muttley, honestly. Yeah, brilliant. Next up, Ricky Drinks Paint. I think he has 2. Yes. Firstly, we have MESBG. You must be a. Well, I mean, I am a big fan of this, but this one's for you, Mr. Watkin.
Big fan for sure. Yeah, we've been playing a little bit of MESBG as well, and on a previous game I played Adam, and he didn't roll anything less than a 4 on his invulns for his custodies. I got him back by only rolling 6s to wound his Urukai. So the swings and roundabouts come around, but we had a great time. It's a fantastic game system, but these models are brilliant. I mean, Elrond's, the thing you sculpted Elrond is fantastic, but also we've got the Mouth of Sauron there on the left as well. Very dark, very menacing. I love how you've done that sort of like dark, sort of browny silver, sort of dirty look to the armor as well. Yeah, I mean, fantastic work across both of these for sure.
Yeah, so we have. I'm envious that you've managed to actually finish your Elrond. I still haven't found the time to do mine, because I know that's going to take at least an evening for me to do. But you've done it really, really, really well. The Herald looks fantastic as well. The Mouth of Sauron is a miniature I've never wanted, but now I do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same kind of thing here where. Rules wise, he's very good. I feel like I don't want necessarily him for my. I've got this kind of like thing against not using him because he's only in the extended cuts rather than the main cuts of the film. But he's still. It's like just something in my brain just goes, oh, but I just want stuff from the film. But he is from the film. But you've done a great job of it for sure. He's great in game. He looks great here. You'll have a great time using him. Yeah, I mean.
I wish he had
Elrond
made his way into
classic.
the film, because if he'd made his way into
extended
the film,
cuts,
but it's just like in the theatrical cut, because it's so well done and it's so creepy and it's so hideous to look at that it's brilliant.
Oversized teeth and whatnot, and
and the way they animated it and all this kind of thing.
I'll say this: if it makes you feel better, he technically maybe does make it a theatrical cut of the film because. They go and right up to the gate and say, "May the Black Lord come forth" and all that sort of stuff, and then the gate opens and they ride back. And when you see them ride back, and when then later Aragorn charges, he still has the blood of on the sword. So it's like, Aragorn, when did your sword get bloodied? This isn't explained. Yeah, but so he's technically like there's still like an echo of him in the film, or some of his blood in the film.
Yeah. No, these are beautiful renditions of both of all 3 miniatures, Ricky. You have another one though, because you have one that's even closer to my heart, right here, of recent times. We have an abhorrent Archregent, an abhorrent Cardinal, and Grand Justice Gormain, who again slots in, think this year to the best miniatures released. By Age of Sigmar.
It is one of the most Warhammer miniatures ever made, because it's just like, why is that? He's got a judge's like a wig made out of intestines. That is just about as Warhammer as you can get.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's like nuts in the it's not like it's not nuts it's so far off this way or it's so far it's that way. It's that nuts that it means it's like the specific brand of like Warhammer being nuts.
Yeah, well, and it's also one of the reasons why you can never predict what Age of Sigmar is gonna do. You go, what's gonna come out for the Flesh Eater Courts? Oh, I don't know. Maybe one character, another kind of ghouly thing. It's like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Or they're gonna come up with Grand Justice Gormain. And it's like, yep, cool.
As you do.
Yeah. Foul tarnish. Oh, that's Usheran, of course. No Usheran this month. I'm expecting him.
No, they're all last month.
But man, I love Flesh Eater Courts. I really love them. I've really enjoyed painting them. I have a few more. Well, I say a few. I actually counted it up the other day. Let me just pull the list up. I know for a fact that there is things like a Terrorgeist, and there's more. There's like the Flayers and
Yeah.
I've got 20 Crypt Ghouls and more Crypt Guard and more Morbeg Knights to do, and I just want to get to getting them done. But I, alas, do not have time. So I envy you getting to paint these miniatures once again, Ricky, because they're just fantastic, and you've done an excellent, incredible job on them. The Cardinal, in particular, I really love what you've done with the robe. That is a beautiful colour. Would you tell me how you did it? Because I might rob it in the future.
Yeah, no, these are very, very well done, for sure.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Brilliant, lemon, brilliant. Next up, Viking Minis 50. I'm not sure if I've seen them tonight. Tales from the Mustache. I think you were here earlier. We have a what's it called?
Slan?
Yeah, a Slan Star Master.
Yep, that's the one.
Not a Slan Stairmaster.
It's very different. That's a very toned frog. This one's just sitting down.
Yeah. So yeah, behold.
I mean, gorgeous. I'm just looking I was first very impressed with how you've done all the blending on the skin, but then looking closer, you've also got textures on there as well. And obviously the cherry sitting on, very impressive as well, and the skinks, and it's just there's so much you've done perfectly here. I just keep on looking and finding more things. Like the stonework has just the right amount of texture to it, as well as being the right colors and some weathering. But it's in the cracks, and there's bits of moss here, and there's just so much extra that you've done here that it's really, really incredible once it's all put together.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It's beautifully done. Like you said, the scales happening on the slan itself is very, very impressive, because the slan itself actually that's the character, right? But it feels like it's such a it's weird that the focus of the model is such a component of the model, because often with knights riding horses, for example, there's almost equal weighting to both the rider and the mount. Here the mount is the chair, and the chair is the bit that it has the most presence, and actually the slan within is the bit that you it's easy to spend less time on the slan, because people are going to look at the chair more so than the slan. But you've put so much effort into the slan that it's very genuinely impressive. You've done more than I did on mine, I think. I'm pretty certain. I think I did all the lines on the back of mine. Yeah, no, honestly, it's great.
Yeah, I mean you even the stone behind the slan as well is a slightly dark color because it's in shade and behind and doesn't have much light to it. But the whole thing has just come together so incredibly well that we talked about models looking like dioramas before. This is definitely one of those ones where you look at this and if you weren't familiar with the army, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is a diorama that you've put together of all these different little bits and pieces, and it's no, this is just the miniature with a couple of skinks on it as well. It's just, yeah, it really has that sort of full diorama look to it.
Yeah, it's great. It's really nice. It's a lovely, lovely miniature, and it's a lovely, lovely paint job. And like I said, you've put the effort in all the right places. But you've got more. I've just lost the stream. Where's it gone? Where have you gone, stream? Oh, got you. There we go. Right, there we go. So, oh god, scroll too fast. We have more from Viking Minis 50, because we have Kato Ezekiel, we have a Bloodpelt Hunter, and we have the Orc Mega War Boss. That was the Warhammer Plus variant one right here. So we have all three in one place.
Yeah, I mean, these are fantastic. I mean, I'm immediately drawn to the Ogre in the middle there, just by I mean, the skin that you've done on that is incredible, but then you've got like sharp highlights on the sort of bladed weapons and weaponry around. Great color choices, having more sort of limited neutral palette, and then the back, the fur cloak is just very soft and feathery, sort of blending. But then you've got just as much skill applied to the thing standing to the right and left of it as well. Like the vampire is so dark and broody and fantastic, and then you've got the orc looking very menacing, again very sharp. Just yeah, the skill that's on display here is immense. Looks really great, really fantastic.
Yeah, I love that Kado Ezekiel model. You know, for all the reasons that I normally say why I love models. One, it's a model at rest. Two, it's got a weapon in a sheath. Three,
Yeah.
it's a vampire. Four, it's moody. Five,
Yeah.
it's evil. Well, Kado's a bit of a complicated character, so he is. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of it's very different vibe to, if we just go back to it. There's the Slan, bright,
yeah.
full of life. There you go, with lots of cool stuff going on. But then you flip over to the kind of more darker denizens of the mortal realms, and you've captured the tone of them beautifully. These are so atmospheric, says Laura. Exactly. Yeah, there is
100%.
There's a lot of that kind of
atmosphere is not easy to create in a miniature or to capture in a miniature, but here you've shown that you'll be able to create vastly different atmospheres, but still have them perfectly balanced with the model.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful work.
They're fabulous. Fabulous miniatures. Thank you, Viking Minis 50. Next up, Plops of Corn, who you saw very briefly when I scrolled too far. We have
little preview.
We have one of my favourite models from the I want to say Shadow Spear era of Warhammer 40,000. We have the Reaver Lieutenant. But this is it's a Phobos Lieutenant, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the guy.
Yeah, it's Reaver.
Yeah, leaping forwards.
Yeah.
And it's a Blood Angel, so obviously I'm very happy.
Of course.
It's great, man. Honestly, it's really, 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 really nice.
It's a gorgeous red. And then a really lovely rich gold to go alongside that as well. Great details with like the green and to give that sort of accent color to it as well. Lovely basing, of course. Just like everything is just done really, really well. Even just from like just a simple head swap to that, it's just such like a smooth and vibrant red that you've got going on.
Yeah, it's so good. Blood Angels are so pretty, aren't they?
This one certainly is, for sure.
Bloody Blood Angels. I always think like, yeah, I'm ready to part ways with my Blood Angels, and then you go and share things like this, Plops of Corn, and I remember just how much I love the Blood Angels, and I go, no, I'm not ready to part ways with my Blood Angels just yet, because there's something so noble and brilliant about them. And then when people like yourself, Plops of Corn, Chris, when you go and produce works of art like this on the best Legion, the best chapter, it just goes, oh, I just love them so much. And you've got kind of so many tiny little details going on here. So you look at the combat knife. You look over on the left hand side. You've not got like a just like a smooth highlight along the cutting edge of the blade. You've gone for that more kind of what I would call, I know it's not the right word, so before people go, what an idiot, the Rambo knife. Is it a Bowie knife? Is that what it's called?
Bowie is a type of knife that looks very similar to that. It probably wouldn't necessarily be exactly that, but yeah, close enough.
Yeah, so the cutting edge looks like lots of lines, so it's not serrated, but it's lethal. And then you've got the darker metal of the flat of the blade, as well as the kind of, again, you've gone for a similar thing here on the computer screen as well. And then you have the faded paper as well. Just there's so many things to point out here that are it's just beautiful. It's beautiful.
Really, really stunning.
And to think you started off saying you didn't know if you could get your Blood Angels red right. Oh, how you've proved yourself wrong. Yeah, wonderful.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful, Plopsicorn. Thank you very much. This was during my ill and blind month. Well, now you're just showing off.
Yeah, well, because if this is what you do when you're ill and blind, then what does the rest of the army look like?
I honestly, I wouldn't submit anything if I had an ill and blind month. I would just be like, you don't want to see it. You can watch. You can watch the videos where I massacred a model. No, wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for re-inspiring me for my Blood Angels. You're great.
There you go.
Victor is up next. I've seen him in the chat. He's there in the chat. We have everything from one of the biggest models that Games Workshop makes in the Age of Sigmar range, all the way through to some of the smallest that they make in the form of Nagash, through to Saruman and Grima.
I mean, Nagash is obviously the small one, right?
Yeah, Nagash is the tiniest one, obviously.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want a Saruman to be the size of Nagash.
That'd be very, very different.
So there you have it. We also have the Avatar as well, and we have the Gillian King.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if I've seen the Avatar done with blue and then we'll have the sort of more gold armor on there as well. Yeah.
As I recall,
actually, he almost looks like a frost giant or something like that.
Well, as I recall, he was inspired by the classic X-Men.
I mean, I've heard very good things about the animated series coming back, the X-Men 97. Everything that I've seen from that looks fantastic. So something, worthy of being inspired by, for sure. Obviously, in love with everything Middle-earth, so great to see some Uruk-hai. The Saruman looks fantastic. I'm not sure if you followed Josh's tutorial on that, but if you did, I was blown away when I saw that tutorial of just how simple Saruman is. I think you said it was like 4 or 5 colors to get the robes right, when usually you would look at that and go, oh, it's so hard, so many different colors, and it's robes, so it's going to be hard with the blending, all that sort of stuff. And then in your tutorial, Josh was like, oh yeah, it's just like you do this, you wash the beard in like watered down non oil, and then wash the robes in this color, and then you're done.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, he is fun. Everyone's saying, well, can't wait to use Nagash in 4th. Yeah, I mean, he does look like he might be a bit of a beast in 4th. We should find out. We need to see how Nagash stacks up against some of the other godlike beings in game.
He's a big boy for sure.
Yes.
Very, like, I don't think I've seen like the sort of ghostly bits around him done in red before. It's actually quite menacing.
Yeah. It lends a kind of moodiness to him. He was inspired by Evil Dead. I was
going to say, it feels like he's the big bad boss fight at the end of a video game. That's the vibes he's given us at the moment.
As well he should. He is the god of death.
Very much so.
Yeah. No, awesome stuff, Victor. Really, really great.
Yeah, that is great.
Next up, we have Nerd of the Sands paint with a trio of characters. We have Emperor's Champion. We have the Reaver Lieutenant. And we have the Lone Survivor, as I call him, the Lone Operative.
Yep.
And we also have the other Phobos Lieutenant that came out of Shadow Spear, with the carbine and the combat knife.
I mean, there's so much character to all these miniatures. We said it before, love the color combinations that you go for, Popcorn. Your weathering is world class as always, but all the extra detail you've got on here, I mean, the basing work we've mentioned as well before, fantastic. There's just so much to love here, from like the drips, like the sort of ichor blood of the Tyranids that is like dripping off the blade,
The goop.
to like the decals you've got on, and then weather over the top of. The bright yellow of the bolt gun as well, contrasting so well, and yet fitting so well with that classic color scheme that you've got. Yeah, just so much to love here.
Yeah, it's great. I really like this version of the Emperor's Champion.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it?
I love the old metal ones. Don't get me wrong, but this one I really love.
I had one of the old metal ones as well, and it was a well-loved miniature. But this new version definitely does it justice.
I think I've got one somewhere. The one that's doing that with the sword.
No.
The one who's like this. Hang on, I have a sword.
You do have a sword.
The one who's doing that is, I think it's like the second one they made, or the third one. I'm not sure. I also have this one. As you can see, video for it on my channel. Tyranid goop equals ichor. There you go. Ichor. I do like goop though. The goo.
Either works.
Yeah. It's lovely. Like, we're always very impressed by Nerd of the Sands paints. His Black Templars.
It's another one that's going to look amazing in the family photo for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. No question of that whatsoever. Like we have these sort of slight elements of, is it battle damage or camo that's happening on the it's battle damage on these guys, which is really, really good. Which is, it's not overstated either. It's nicely accurate. So I'm always a big fan of that, as we all know. I like all forms of painting, but when you can manage the battle damage, I'm always very impressed by people's ability to stop. Yeah, because I've been very.
It's always the hard question of, I mean, with any sort of art, it's always when is enough, and like how much do I do, and then there's always that temptation to keep going, and then you take a step back from it and you're like, oh, I went too far.
Yeah.
And so knowing when to stop is a big skill, actually.
Yeah. So some of my Blood Angels vehicles, for example, they are so covered in stuff that I'm like, I didn't know when to stop. So it is what it is.
It is a risk we all take.
Yeah, exactly. But no, lovely stuff, Nerd of the Sands. Next up, we have Fabian Wildschutz. I think that's how I say your name. Now we have this guy, obviously, Rabute Gilliman, and then we have this model over here, whose name I now have to look up. So everyone look up.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen that miniature before. It's wild and very well executed, but yeah, I don't know where that's from.
He did say. Hang on, I'm just going to pull it up.
While you're looking at that, I do have to commend you, though, on the flaming sword from Gilman. Is stunning. I mean, obviously, the rest of the Gilman paint job is very well executed as well, but the way you've got the flames licking up into that dark, sort of almost black as well there with the flames, it looks and really sells a sort of realistic flame. It's just so well done.
So that model is called the Hunt Master from the board game Lobotomy 2 Manhunt, painted by Fabian's girlfriend, Claudia.
Very well done.
Yeah.
No, it looks great. I don't think I know of that board game. It's a lovely, grotesque miniature and very well painted as well.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. It's very characterful. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's incredibly well done.
It literally oozes character.
Oh, yeah. It's great. I really like it.
Yeah. It's cool to see like these miniatures from elsewhere out in the rest of the world and from different board games or such. So if you have some of those sort of more complex board games that come with miniatures, please do paint some of them up and show them on the channel, because we love to see them. They're always sort of fascinating to see what else is out there and more variety for us to look at.
Absolutely. It's as we've mentioned, I know the names of every single miniature ever.
Yeah. Here's the challenge: find something that Josh does not know the name of.
and I never forget them or get them wrong. So it's always nice when you see them.
We never get any of the names wrong whatsoever.
No, never have, never will. There's a lot to love in this one. As Chewie says, the flab. Yeah, it's brilliantly well done. But there's just I love that there's clearly it's some form of law enforcement that locks people away in its tummy. Which I love as a concept. It's very it's very high concept, which is very, very cool.
It's such a cool concept.
But it's executed brilliantly. Like the blue of the, I'm assuming like a denim bomber jacket type thing, looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean the skin as well. It can be hard sometimes with all the different folds of skin to get the right blends and highlights and shades in there. But yeah, you've done a great job there.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the Primarch Guilliman is very well done as well. You've got the heat of the sword absolutely spot on. The tips of the flames as he moves it through space are just looking absolutely cracking. Yeah, great work, Fabian. Really good work.
Really, really lovely.
Excellent. Next up, Alaric. You've waited long enough. So we have a real mixed group of
all the characters,
of miniatures here. Yeah, tons of characters. We have some Sylvaneth. We have some Soulblight Gravelords. Some Idoneth Deepkin. We have some Gut Rippers here. We've got some sisters. There's a lot to love. Bloody Rose sisters as well, which they're red. So I'm always a big fan.
I mean, they're basically the Blood Angels of sisters, right? Right.
That is exactly what they are, and so I am always here for it.
Yep. I mean, there's so much to say across all these miniatures. Yeah, sisters looking fantastic, great scheme, great contrast between different colours. The gold really stands out as well. Lovely reds. I mean, moving on to the Sylvaneth, we've already seen you do this scheme before. It's done so well, from like the bluey green swords to then that more ethereal, gives it the ethereal vibe, but the dark pink sort of almost color clashing with it, but then the really dark, almost like weirwood like wood. Very menacing, very sort of like fairy-esque, and the sort of like the fae quality of the name. To then stunning vampires we've got, and then there's so much here that is incredible. Really, really is.
You've done, I think, so on your Sylvaneth Alaric, you've now done a miniature that I haven't done, which now means that the scheme is yours. So now
that's how it works.
Yeah. So now all of my miniatures are copying yours. As you now have ownership. Treat it well, as you do every time, because you paint it. You paint it absolutely brilliantly. The Vampire Lord as well, down bottom left, particular highlight for me. Really love that miniature. Really love that miniature. I think it's fantastic.
It is. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, you say you apologise, but for going on a bit of a tear, but never apologise for that. The one thing I will say is your killer boss in the bottom right. Why is everyone painting their gut rippers killing celestial vindicators? Why is everyone doing? Why is everybody doing that? Did I do that on mine?
It's just a cool colour scheme to go for,
Hang on, I'm going to check mine. Hang on one sec. No, I did Hammers of Sigmar on mine.
So not even from tutorials, literally they picked that one.
They do something different. So everyone keeps going for Celestial Vindicators. It's like, no, my boys.
Yeah.
The third of my boys. It's like that thing, like with gaming groups. Whenever somebody rules the roost for too long with a Space Marine army, and then suddenly those Space Marines start appearing as casualties on everybody else's bases.
There are plenty of other Space Marine heads out there on different bases and different spikes and wherever else you can find them.
Yeah, Alaric's calling you out, Bo. That's what he's doing there. You will fight to the death on the tabletop, not in real life.
Yeah. If you're not Celestial Vindicators, then yeah, you'll be fine. You can go away. You can fight someone else. But if you are, we're coming for you.
Yeah, exactly. No, top work, Alaric. Really, really top work.
Yeah.
You've been very busy. You've
all
achieved more than I have this month. Next up, we have Forge Father Histan, who gives us a Ghost Kill. Ghost Kill? Yeah, Ghost Kill. And a Cardra Fire Blade. Cardra Fire Blade.
Yeah.
So we see that continuation of that camo pattern from his from his stealth suits on an even bigger and more impressive piece.
On 100% a more bigger and impressive scale here, because it's really fun to see as well the camo pattern being the same color, like different shades of that same color, the darker and the lighter. It's done really, really well here, obviously, but it gives it that texture to the color that it still reads as that color, but it still would act as a camouflage because it breaks up, because the whole point is to break up the colors, so it's not just a single block of color out in whatever it's being camouflaged against. It works really well having like the different tones of the same color going through it, and that must have taken forever as well, because it's not just like, here is a little bit that's camouflaged. It is, I'm doing camouflage lines across everything.
Yeah. No, that is a labour of love right there. Tiger Stripes are very therapeutic after some stressful hell diving.
Well, I'm glad that you found therapy from it, and it wasn't a really frustrating exercise. If this is therapy for you, then absolutely do more of it and show us, because it looks fantastic.
I've been, side note for Helldivers, I've been really enjoying my Instagram. So my Instagram goes through phases, right? Where it slowly thinks it's figured me out, and then it just goes, oh no, we haven't figured you out at all. At the moment, what it's doing is it's showing me constant Helldivers 2 memes. I saw one today.
That definitely has been popping up more, for sure.
I saw one today of somebody said I did a slight edit to when I start watching a Disney film. As as it zooms out on Disney Castle, and then they just they cut it right into the dun 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 dun, and had the Helldivers pods coming across it, and that made me laugh for about 10 minutes. It's all for democracy, as we all know. But yeah, no, honestly, Forge Father, you've got more patience than me, because Ghost Kill isn't small. So to do all those tiger stripes on it, it's fantastic.
Sure.
No, it's really well done. Excellent stuff, Forge Father. Just the Fire Warriors, then my Tau Combat Patrol will be done. Well, drones too, but whatever.
Hey, nicely done. Well, Fire Warriors, we do have Battleline next month, so looking forward to seeing them.
Exactly. Fire Warriors up next. I can't wait to see them. Thank you, Forge Father. Histan. Very, very nice work. Next up, we have Black Dog Minis with, I think, 2? No, just the one. Oh, God. Scroll wheel. Stop it.
Where are we?
I keep unclicking. My scroll wheel has a lock, so it'll.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
So it'll either click through, or it just turns into a wheel of destiny that just goes all the way through.
Just spin it and see what we end up on.
James Matthias, can Battleline be a Warcry warband? It absolutely can, James.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it's always more guidelines. So yeah, a Warcry warband. I hope to see it. It'll look awesome. You're painting it, so it will be awesome. Black Dog Minis here has given us a Free Guild Marshal and Relic Envoy, as well as a Judiciar and a Terminator Captain.
Lovely.
So yeah, there you
the
have
captain or the chaplain?
Sorry, Terminator Chaplain. Did I say captain?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you could use it as a captain if you wanted to.
No, it's definitely a chaplain. We have it's the new Terminator Chaplain as well.
Yeah. That's why it sort of like stuck in my mind. But yeah, no, everything was fantastic, obviously, but the menacing nature that you got in the chaplain and the Judiciar, really, really nice. And then also the lovely little details and the highlights that you've got going on the sort of Sigmar miniatures, and just like I love that he's just carrying around the dead head as a relic. It's like, here guys, this will inspire you.
Yeah.
Look at this dead bit of a old warrior.
James says he has 3 he's interested in doing: the Hunters of Huan Chi, the Eskurgan Trueblades, or the Dark Oath Savages. All of those are very, very good options, James. I think you'll do a great job on all of them.
Yeah.
But this chaplain model, right? I know it's quite divisive because some people don't think it's not very dynamic. But I think
it looks fine.
Yeah, I think when you pose it the way Black Dog Minis has, it looks great. This is where it's funny. But my absolute highlight here has to be the Relic Envoy. Not specifically the Relic Envoy, the Free Guild Marshal. Because it's brilliant. I mean, I love this miniature. I love this sets of miniatures because they're fantastic. And you've done them so well, and like the wood of the inside of the shield is fan-bloody-tastic.
Just looking at that, and I was like, wait, is that sculpted or is that painted? Like, what's going on here?
It is sculpted in, but it's not easy to do because it's at a dumb angle.
Even if it is, yeah.
So it's really, really well done. Bo says, I so regret not buying the Savages. Can't find them anywhere since retiring. Bo, the Dark Oath are on the way.
Oh man,
as we know,
the Dark Oath miniatures look, so good. They were the one thing that was missing from the Chaos Army for me, and now they finally replacing the old Marauders with those, and they could not look better.
I like those old models though. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, they are really nice old models.
I have a fondness for old classic models as well, for sure. Yeah. It's always great to see what they do with sort of such dynamic resculpts as well. So there's nostalgia has a place, but so does like the new and innovative miniatures.
Dave says all 3, please, James, and then James says I can try.
Yeah, well, eventually, but as much as you want to paint, we'll be able to look at and see and review.
We don't want to scare you off, James, but it's always a real treat when you share your miniatures with us. So paint all of them. Do it all now. Become like me. Don't do that. It's very stressful. It's very hard. No, this is great. Stephen, he's in the chat. Thanks, everybody. Very kind words. You're very welcome, Stephen. You're excellent.
Thank you.
It's excellent work. Can you drop in the chat what your recipe is on your Space Marines bases? Because I really like that. It's almost like a peach, but it's a really nice tone of like desert sand, and I really like it. So could you please drop that in the chat for me? Because I would like to nick it. I'm stealing a lot tonight. Sorry.
Hey.
Anyway,
if people are willing to share, then share and share alike.
Yeah. So next up we have Cameron, who has a Knight Judicator, and we have I think it's a Farseer, right? Farseer on jet bike.
Yes, I would assume so. It's either that or a Warlock, but I think from what I can see, it's a Farseer.
I think it's a Farseer. He says many apologies for the
more to it than the Warlock.
He says many apologies for the piss poor photos from me. Was rushing to get them uploaded in time. No, they're not bad. Farseer Skyrunner, there you go. They're not bad photos, Cameron. They're great. You show us everything you need to show us. We can still see them. We can still see, and we can still give you massive compliments. Firstly, on actually painting in the pattern on your Ulthway draft bike.
Yeah,
well
for
done.
Sure.
Because that is hard. It's hard to do, and you've done it really well.
Clean lines. I'm assuming you painted probably the black first, as most people would.
Yeah.
Then painting on the sort of bone color over the top usually requires multiple coats. So you have to be very patient. You have to have lots of brush control. You have to be willing to go back and clean things up. There are ways to do the how you can see the two lines going across each other. I think the trick is that you paint just them, not everything connected, and then you just paint the black lines in between, and choose what goes over which later on. But even with that, to get such clean straight lines with such a solid color takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication, and it's done flawlessly here. So absolutely props to you for doing that and for putting in that time and effort to do so, because it's always a joy seeing freehand like that on a miniature, and it's a classic one and absolutely fits in with the theme of the army.
Yeah, no, definitely. James says he's got 950 followers on TikTok, so I'm closing in on me. Yes, you are. No. TikTok is the fastest growing platform as well, James. You'll be a bigger content creator than me by the end of the year, for sure. And I hope so, because then I can watch your streams.
Steal all those paint recipes.
Oh, Peter Collins has said, towards your next burger... Thank you very much for the 20. That's very kind of you, Peter. Towards your next burger, and simply because you always inspire me and all of us. P.S. Read your WhatsApp every now and then. Oh, have you sent me a message? I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, this is not an excuse for me to hide behind, but as mentioned, I'm learning a lot more about my neurospiciness. And so, there's times where I have to turn off notifications, and sometimes I forget to turn it back on. So notifications get turned off for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then I go, nobody's texting me anymore. And then I go and look and go, oh, people are
Open
texting
up the app.
me. Yeah. Thank you very much for the 20. That's very kind of you.
I'm one of those... My thing is that I always have to, as soon as there are notifications on the chat, I'm the one person that goes in and clears all notifications. So if I open up my WhatsApp, there's no unread chats, even if all I do is just open it up, scroll down to the bottom of a big group chat, and then get rid of the notifications. I'm the person that has 0 unread emails in the inbox and always needs to tick off that. So turning off notifications and just having them pile up would probably cause me more stress than actually turning them off.
I won't tell you how many unread emails I have then.
Oh god. I mean, I also, as soon as I've read an email and I don't need to keep it anymore, I archive it as well. But anyway. I've got 10 emails in my inbox and that's it.
People can drop their guesses as to how many unread emails I have in the chat, and I may or may not confirm who's closest.
Yep.
But fine. I will as well say, Cameron, your Hammers of Sigmar Knight Judicator. This is one of my favourite models from the Stormcast range. I love it so much. I've mentioned this before, and I'm not sure why we didn't get a Liberator, a Knight Liberator. But I would guess that maybe one is on the way, given as we're getting new Liberators going on very soon. And
seeing everyone posting in chat of how many unread emails they have.
I don't have an unread actually. So this is the thing, right? The awful thing is that I get an email every time there's something happens, right? But they're hidden.
Yep.
They're hidden in a folder where it doesn't go directly into my inbox. So, of the YouTube notifications alone,
that would definitely add up for sure.
Yeah, I have somewhere in the region of about 70,000 unread emails.
See, whenever I sign up to any apps or whatnot, one of the first things I do is then go onto notifications and turn everything off.
Yeah,
and I basically and unsubscribe to everything as well to help keep my inbox clean. If there is something, if I'm getting a regular email that I don't need, I'm unsubscribing from it.
70,260 unread emails from Moro Diogo. Oh dear.
That's just from YouTube, you said as well.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. Anyway, Cameron, Hammers of Sigmar. I really love Hammers of Sigmar, and you've executed them really well here. Like I said, he's one of my favourite miniatures, so to see him is fantastic. And you've done a really good job on the Gryph-hound as well, because they're not easy. They're not easy to do Gryph-hounds, especially the ones from that. Like I struggled initially to figure out how in the hell I was going to do them for the video. And I think you've done really, really, really well. Sorry for the derail. No, it's all right, Peter. You're all good.
It's all good.
I shall read my WhatsApps after this. I shall go and check.
But the miniatures are lovely, for sure. I also love the weathering that you've done on the bottom of the cloak of the Stormcast as well. You've got that sort of like almost muddy green sort of ground going on, and you replicate that at the bottom of the cloak, which is always great to see, and sort of ties the miniature, and then same with the bottom of the feet as well.
Yeah. Chris says, can I just say, after assembling 20 Crypt Ghouls, I don't think I can assemble another one in my life. I feel you, man. And Stephen's dropped the recipe in. So the base recipe is AK Terrains Sandy Desert Paste with a coat of Mournfang Brown over it, and then a dry brush with Troll Slayer Orange, Steel Legion Drab, Carrick Stone, and a light pass with Pallid Witch Flesh. Yeah, there's no Tyrant Skull in there, so... You know.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well done. But yeah, no, these are great, Cameron. They're really great. I also, another highlight for me over here on these three. Stay on, focus. The Witchblade of the Singing Spear. Is a Singing Spear, isn't it? Yeah, Singing Spear.
Yeah, Singing Spear.
It's really, really nice. You've got that kind of gem-like quality to it. And it's very classically Eldar. It adds just a lovely little pop of colour in amongst the darkness of Ulthway, which is great. It's really, really nice. It's a lovely little it's a pop of colour.
It's such a classic scheme as well.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like the model's covered in two different ways from two different sides, because you have the you have the pattern that's been free-handed on. Kudos to you, sir, because it's not easy to do it on the Eldar jet bikes. I know, because I've done 10 Shining Spears. 12 Shining Spears. So you've got the pop of colour from one direction on that side, and then you've got the Witchblade on the other, which is really, really nice. It adds an off balance to the vibe of the miniature, but in a really, really good way.
Yeah, a really nice example of how to sort of balance a composition across the miniature of one side having the spear and then one side having the free hand.
Yeah. Did you get one of the new limited Stormcast minis, Josh? More than Zane? No, I didn't get him yet. I will try and get him. Thank you, Cameron. Next up, we have Mike's Painted Minis with, oh god, what's the name of it? I can't remember. Someone in chat's going to get it.
It's like Junith or Judith or like something along those lines.
Judith Arusha?
That might be it.
Judith. To the internet!
Yeah, something along those lines. It's funny, like, I've seen the word written down so much, but I haven't spoken it loud enough to internalize it. It's like I've seen the name, but I haven't, yeah.
Yeah,
don't know what off.
Yeah, it's Junith Eruita. I'm not how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a beautiful rendition of it right here. The creaminess right there on the white of the eagle is sublime.
That's like, the white that you've got going on there is so smooth, so well done. Just, it looks like fresh marble, basically. It's stunning, but there's still like enough depth to it there that. And then you've got like all the lettering of the words on the back of the staircase as well. Wonderful. Again, great flame effects. Just like everything is really like crisp and clean here for sure.
Yeah, it's it's actually flawless. That color. It's
I would almost like hazard a guess, and I don't know, but it's so well done that I would almost guess that was like you base coded it in Wraithbone or something like that, and then just didn't touch it or added maybe some slight shading into the recesses or something like that, because you've got it so smooth.
It looks almost soft. Yeah, in like the best way, but it's not. It's obviously very hard and clean. And like I love as well that you've got the kind of slightly, it's not faded, but you kind of got the like slightly more kind of sort of industrial aspects to it in the form of the steps. It's genuinely a very, very impressive marriage of bright and dark next to each other. Where you have like I said, you have that very soft, silky soft, smooth cream, sort of off-white of the eagle and the stone, but then for the black details, it's a lot more kind of there's very clean edge highlights going on it, which is very, very impressive, but in such a way that it kind of the two colors juxtapose so perfectly, in that you've got that kind of slightly more roughness of the darker color, but then you've got the pure softness of the white of the bone, which just it's not only the color choice, it's not only the execution, but it's the texture and the tone as well, all working together, which is genuinely.
I mean, it is very much grim, dark, gothic, far future 40k. It is the juxtaposition between that sort of like almost like religious. Well, I mean, it's like on a parapet kind of that's basically floating through the battlefield. And so it's got this sort of preacher aesthetic to it, and very clean marble statue versus then the dark grittiness, gothic nature of the sort of black stone steps going up behind it as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliantly well done, man. Honestly.
Not even to mention all like the little text, and is that freehand on the scroll there, or the lettering, or is that actually on the
I think it's freehand, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, very well done, to the point where I have to ask the question, is it freehand or not? It's obviously well executed.
Yeah, absolutely. No, my monitor's about to turn off. We don't want that to happen. That would be a surprise. Very nice. Very, very nice there, Mike. Next up, we have Old Man Noz, who also has two characters for us here. We have a Royal Warden and a Skorpek Lord.
I love to see it.
See, I do know all the names. It was never in doubt. Yeah. No, these are fantastic. The thing that really caught my eye initially, of course, was the Skorpek Lord and his big old blade.
Lots of lovely glow effects on there.
Yeah. There's a real sense of energy and lethality to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Skorpek Lord in general has a sense of lethality, but accentuated by the paint job. Yeah,
it's great. It's really, really nice. Old Man Noz has really been flying the flag for Necrons and has been doing an excellent job of it.
Using it like it's the new sort of classic paint scheme as well, sort of like the different like two-tone metallics in there as well, one for the carapace and then one for underneath as well, and it always has such a lovely sense of aging to them. Like these look like ancient Necrons. The way you painted those metals. Were there maybe some dry brushing in there to give it that extra texture? Not sure how you go about it, but it really sells the effect and it works perfectly for Necrons.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. I kind of miss the days of Indomitus.
Good times.
They were good times, right?
Good box.
Yeah, the score.
No, we've talked a lot in the past about like which launch boxes are like a really good example of how you do a launch box, and Indominus was always one of those ones that keeps on coming up as just being really exciting.
Yeah, that's great. You're a talented Necrons painter, Old Man Noz. It's really a privilege. I think your family photo as well. When we come to the conclusion, what I might actually do is for this year's Tales is I might do an epilogue.
Yeah, well, it's because if the last one is going to be, here's what I painted in the last month. If we could say, save all your family photos and then we'll do a 13th episode.
Yeah.
Just with the family photos. And that would be really cool.
Yeah. Also, I had a very, very good conversation with somebody who owns a venue in somewhere near London. The name has immediately left my brain. Tunbridge Wells. Tunbridge Wells. And we might be able to get together there for a sort of pseudo Tales wrap up hangout type thing. So a really good conversation about that.
Little mini Warhipster fest.
Yeah, a little what would you call it? A dry run.
Yeah. Little practice.
Yeah, so I had a really, really good really good conversation about that. So yeah, I know you guys have been wanting that kind of thing, and if you're going to be at the Age of Sigmar Reforged event or in Nottingham during that time, I will be there, so we can hang out then. A cuddle pile. Yeah, we can have a cuddle pile.
The Warhipster cuddle pile.
Yeah, come on down to the Warhipster cuddle pile. Cuddle puddle. Old man Noz is in the chat. He says, "Thanks, guys. You are too kind." No, Noz, we are not too kind. We're only telling you the truth. You are very kind for having submitted so many wonderful photos so far. Thank you so much. It's great. Lovely to see it. Next up, the mini creative, and at this point, he's showing off.
I mean, yeah, this. You didn't paint this. You just lifted this out of a White Dwarf heavy metal article. That's all it has to be at this point. It's just these are just heavy metal painters coming on, have done here's how to paint a perfect apothecary, and they put it in a White Dwarf article, and you've just taken that off and put it on here now, because that's obviously what's happened, right? It's stunning work. Oh yeah, it's just perfectly done.
Laura says, excuse me, this is a bit much.
Well, it's not only a bit much, look at the right hand side, you can see some of the detail, and you go, yeah, look, the glass is very well done, all that stuff, and then you see, oh, he's even done the little dots on the little green screen.
Yeah.
And then you look closer and he's done the cross hatch lines of the grid that's on the screen that you can barely see. You would only be able to see that if you held the model up to your face. And they put in that level of detail that is insane, and just so skillful that that they put that much extra level of detail in there. It's insane.
I have to pretend like I'm an expert, and then there's people out there like the mini creative doing stuff like this. It's unbelievable, man. It's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. And you're an exceptional artist. An exceptional artist amongst exceptional artists.
Just stunning.
Because I think you're all exceptional. Everybody who takes part in A Tale of Many Warhipsters is an exceptional artist. And then you have exceptional artists within exceptional artists. It's like exceptional squared. Someone might say inceptional. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's truly gorgeous.
I mean, we've seen a lot of the mini creative work always seem to be sort of perfectly placed. I will say this is, from my perspective, obviously not seeing them all side by side at the moment, but this is probably one of your most impressive that you've done yet. I mean, we haven't even talked about the fact that this is a white model. White armor is so notoriously hard to do. But just, perfect work as always.
Darksider says, have a day off. Pretty much. Yeah. It's unbelievable work, the mini creative, honestly. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I feel like I need to put you at the end, I think is what I should do. or I should kick the stream off with you. You should go before me.
We'll just get this out of the way.
Yeah. Get this one out of the way, Jesus. No, honestly, seriously, serious talent.
Lovely work.
Fantastic. Right, next up we have Cloud2466 with the new Invocation of the Elements.
Of course,
The Tower Ethereal. And we have another Fallout board game participant right here.
I'm going to say that I didn't know where that mini was from.
I'm pretty certain it is another one from the Fallout game. I was right last time, so I'm definitely going to be right this time.
You're right every time. Whatever guess you make is what it shall be.
Is that Eddie? Oh, so now I'm thinking, yeah, it might be Eddie. Eddie from Iron Maiden. Yeah, there we go. See, I was wrong. There we go. I'm sure he'll tell us.
You were right. You were just chronologically out of order.
Yeah, completely wrong. I really like the Invocation of the Elements model. I've not seen one in the wild, so this is my first one in the wild.
I really like the color choice of like the sort of like bone against the rich purple cloak, and then the slightly darker blue skin as well. Works really nicely.
Yeah, you got to be wrong at least sometimes. Laura, I've proved on this stream that I've been wrong many times. Many times.
It needs to be right about stuff.
I just like to pretend at times maybe I'm an expert at some point, and that other people should follow me. Subscribe to the channel.
Didn't you win the Warhammer Fest quiz without getting any of the paint questions right?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I thought I'd managed to get through with. I managed. Yeah, that was really embarrassing.
Hey, you still won the quiz.
Yeah, we did it. You. For those of you who don't know, we were at Warhammer Fest and there was a pub quiz, and we won the pub quiz, right? But we didn't win the pub quiz because of me, because there was a round where you had to guess the colours, and I got them all wrong. I got every single one of the colours wrong, and instead the person who won the award for us was Alice, because she's really good at anagrams. So yeah. It was pretty embarrassing at the time. I was like, people think, oh, his color guessing is always so
Josh will be
on point.
good at this round.
Yeah, we've got this one in the back. We've got this one in the bag. Josh will know all the colours. Nope, got them all. I don't think I got them. I think I got one or two right, but I got most of them wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like,
it looked like actually a fairly hard round. And you're probably the only person that actually remembered the names of the colours to begin with. So, because you are a madman who orders your paints by alphabetical order.
That's correct.
Only person I know who does that, because you're the only person that I know who knows the paint names that well.
That's the neuro spiciness.
There we go.
Right there. No, honestly, guys, it was me. I kept guessing. I kept going. I was like, I'm pretty certain it's Thondia Brown. It'd be like, of course it's not. It's Rhinox Hide. So I kept guessing the ones that I thought it would be the harder one to answer, and it wasn't. It was always the easier one. I was like, damn it!
Yeah, you were too advanced for the basic quiz that they put together.
I was just too much of an expert. That was a problem.
Yeah, that's it.
But there you go.
You're like, oh, that's actually, if you combine these two colors, or if you like undercoat with this color and then put that color over the top, that's what it'll look like. And you're like, yeah, but it was just this layer, like this base color. Oh well,
it's,
I mean, I guess if you wanted the simple way to do it, then sure.
It's clearly 2 parts Storehouse Silver to 1 part Retributor Armor. It's Liberator Gold. Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't just order them by name. It's by type as well. It's contrast, it's shades, then contrast, then base, then layers, and then
there's categories, and then within by name.
Exactly. Yeah. And yes, I know it's insane, but it's really useful when you're doing them all of the time. Anyway, thank you very much, Cloud2466. These are fantastic. I'm sorry I misguessed Eddie. And this is where he's then going to comment saying, actually, it's not. It's just a model from Thingy that's rips off Eddie from.
Just discount Eddie from X board game over there.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Cloud. Next up, we have Hairlock Bow with a Chaos Lord on Karkadrak and a Blade Guard Ancient. See, I know those names.
Yeah. But I mean, talk about atmosphere in a model. I mean, Haylock always blows us away with how much moodiness they can get in, and how much it's a case of the colors look very similar. They're working from a very similar palette, but there's still enough distinction between them that they read as different colors. Like you can see, there's also like brown of the skin of the character versus like some red of the cloth, and there's the blue of the armor, and there's so much like variation and variety in those colors while still maintaining a very close color palette that lends that atmosphere. And that's not easy to do, and it's stunning miniature. And then same again goes obviously for the Dark Angel, and then you've got the green on there. It reads as being a bit more bright and luminous, but it's actually, if you took that and put it against another color, it would look a fair bit darker, because everything's relative when you're looking at a color in that color scheme. So it's just an utter mastery of relative color and atmosphere on a model.
Yeah. You absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head right there.
But like every month, they do this to us. They just give us incredible models that just are so evocative.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It's, as with most art, you're looking for a reaction, and right there is a reaction. It is a dark and murky world of Warhammer, and Haylock always captures it so perfectly.
For sure.
Regardless of which mini they paint, of course.
Yeah, regardless of which mini, and it's not just color choice as well, because you can see there's some on the Dark Angels, like on the purity seals, you can see little fine details. You've got the checks on the tilting shield as well. Like they've gone to the extra mile on this, so it's not just about amazing color choice, it's also about the skill and being able to apply it as well. Yeah. And definitely. Plus all round.
Absolutely. Absolument. Thank you very much, Haylock. We're nearly there, guys. There's a couple more left to go. So we have Gamix with a Lord of Hubris and a High Gladiatrix from Age of Sigmar. Head of Knights of Slaanesh and Daughters of Cain, respectively.
Yeah.
I really love the Lord of Hubris. I think it's a wonderful model. It's such a Slaaneshi model.
It very much is, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people refer to it as Xerxes. I'm sure it has been based upon.
Same kind of pose there as well.
Yeah, he has like I can't remember his rule, but it's basically like it's a case of he can basically challenge. He can offer to go fight last against an opponent, and then they have to try and kill him, because if they don't, he then powers up, which is just wonderfully. I mean,
that's reflected perfectly in the model as well. It's like, have your best shot.
Yeah, go on. I'm open.
Just try.
Right here in the middle. See those abs? You could bounce a quarter off them.
I will say on the other one as well, we've got a really great blending of the greens. Like there's some great variation within the green and the whip there. Sort of blends in between slightly light and then goes back dark again near the metallic parts as well. Some great highlights on like some silver highlights in the gold, and also great to see across these two miniatures two very different gold as well. So on the right you've got a more sort of warmer with highlighted with silver, and then you've got that sort of more like a rich sort of luscious gold on the left there. So I tend to find that when I'm painting across different armies, I'll have a recipe for silver or recipe gold that I like and just replicate it across every army that I do. So it's great to see you here going, oh no, this needs a different type of recipe, and this one over here needs a different type of recipe, and then both executed really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love the blood red on the Gladiatrix's clothes, as well as on the armor, to be fair. It's lovely.
I mean, red and gold, it's a classic combination.
Yeah, I wonder why I like it. I've never been able to figure that out. No, it's wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. I think we have 2 more. I'm going to guess there's 2 more. We have Nile with a Knight Heraldor. No, that's the one with the trumpet. Oh God, Knight Vexillor. I got there. Knight Vexillor.
Say, come on.
And
got the names.
Yeah, Knight Vexillor, and we have some Annihilators as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a classic scheme that you've done here. Works really well. I love the differences between the different types of blue on the banner, and then also on the cloaks, how there's a bit of variety there. Gold's really well done, lovely weathering there as well, lots of depth. And then the Annihilator's looking very shiny, very well polished. Really, really lovely gold recipe there. Yeah, just lovely across the board.
Just really heavy, like in the best way for the Annihilators.
Yeah.
You've captured the weight of them. The Annihilators aren't light. They are very, very heavy troops.
Funnily enough.
Yeah, they're 2+ save after all. The rarest of the rare in Age of Sigmar. And so, yeah, just you've captured, like I said, the weight of that gold so beautifully, and with like we talk about atmosphere as well. There is a terrifying. I mean, they're the cover model of the Stormcast Eternals book,
yeah,
and these are very evocative of that, especially with the depth in the gold. You see what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really good
really,
stuff.
really lovely work.
Yeah, and like the Knight Vexillor as well. Again, just an absolute stunner of a model. There are very few models that you can make an argument for. A lot of models that have had an incredible glow up, but if you go and look at the original Knight Vexillor and then look at this one, it's night and day. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm ever since like this era of Stormcast. Before Stormcast, I was kind of on the fence or not that passionate about, or just playing like, they're fine, but they've kind of always looked a bit junky for me. This new version with the Thunderstrike armor, it's that sort of spot of looking that right kind of like medieval kind of armor. It's and like the right scale of different body parts, and they look very cool and very well proportioned, and obviously new models look fantastic. So I'm personally really excited to see all the old Stormcast being redone in this sort of new style. Much more likely to collect a Stormcast army if they all look like this. So yeah, these new models are just great.
We bide our time and we wait. Right, I think this is the last one from Pete.
Last one.
You've been very good, Pete. You've waited all this time, but here we are.
Yeah, right to the end.
Yeah. So the thing that he's submitted is the first models. I think you said in at least a number of years. We have Hobgrots on the left, but he also throw it in an ancient Gazkul that was painted when he was but a much younger person.
I was gonna say that's a very old sculpt, but it's also the Goblin Green base.
Yes,
it perfectly encapsulates that time period. Seeing a Goblin Green base there just brings all the nostalgia right back.
First models in 23 years, he said. Yes.
There you go. Well, welcome back.
Your entries never appeared. Oh no, the tattooed zoologist. Where did you send them?
Oh.
Where did you put them? If you tell me where you put them, we can do them. We've still got time. Just about. So yeah,
quickly find them.
Yeah, I'll pull them up. Don't worry, tattooed zoologist. Where did you drop them in the Discord, or did you email them to me? Where were they?
Hopefully we can find them. But in the meantime,
emailed them.
Hobgrots look fantastic. A really lovely yellow on the skin, and then contrasted by the red and the black as well. All that like that dark steel color. great color combination. Really love it, and it's quite like the black and the red always is a menacing sort of color combination when it's done like this. But then to have like that bright offset of the yellow, it's really cool look between them. So, and then I can see a little bit of red in the eyes as well. So I love the extra detail there too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I've got your entries now, Tattooed Zoologist. We will pull them up in just a moment. Now, so this Gazcol model I had, I don't know if I still do. I have it somewhere, maybe, I'm not sure. I'll show you in the inbox. That should be fine. Yeah, no, I've got them, Tattooed Zoologist. Don't worry. We'll pull them up now. Sorry.
We are sorting it as we speak.
We're doing it live. So, yeah, I mean, like you were speaking about Pete, about getting the right color for your Hobgrots, and they are. I really like the color you've gone for here. And they look wonderful. Yeah. But to say that these were your first models back from 23 years away is very, very impressive. It's seriously good work.
Yeah.
And you should be very, very pleased.
Really well done.
Yeah. For sure.
And welcome back as well.
Yeah, welcome back to the hobby, man. It's
always love to see people getting back into the hobby after X many years away.
And yeah, like I love that old Gazcol model. I really love that whole. I mean, it's the new one is just spectacular.
Yeah.
But this one will always.
Another thing that always gives away old models is they always go right up to the edge of the base. Like the base doesn't quite cover all of the model. It's like we're going to give you about the smallest bases that we can manage that the model will just fit on, but the arms will hang over it.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way they did base sizes back then.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the old like Terminators, it's just like here is like a tiny 25 mil base. It's like why are you on 25 mils?
Yeah, you're supposed to be a giant war boss. No, it's lovely. It's really lovely. Right, I need to do some studio magic. So give me 2 seconds. So we can pull in the We're gonna go for the risky play here.
Ooh.
There you go. Should be able to see it now. So this is the Tattooed Zoologist and his entries. So we have a Abhorrent Archregent. Again, good choice. Fantastic miniature.
It's nice,
but also fundamental to Flesh Eater Court's armies. Let me just have I got that? Oh, whoa! I don't mean to scroll like that. There we go. There we go. I was cutting off the top of the miniature, just there. So first up, we have the Abhorrent Archregent. The reason I say this is the risky play is because we are in my email inbox right now, and there are emails you're not allowed to see, which might be a problem. So yeah, first up, it is a really lovely red, as I've just seen in the chat. It's a really nice red you've gone for on the membrane of the wing, but also slightly differentiated from the. From the loincloth, which is really good. It's very, very well done, and I particularly like the metallic you've gone for on the shoulder.
Yeah. It's always hard to get that like slight color variation to really nail that as well, to make it read as different enough, but still like cohesive within the whole scheme. So yeah, I think you've done a really great job of it here for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've got another one here. We've got some Death Watch veterans. Yes. Man, I love the Death Watch. Death Watch is so cool.
I always remember like reading about the Death Watch in an old White Dwarf when it was literally just the one kill team of them, and could like reinforce basically any army, and they'll just like appear out of nowhere, and they all were like specialists with different weapons. Like such cool look behind them. I think here, I love the depth and the shading that you've got on, like, from the weapons to the silver to the armor. really, really, yeah, like I said, depth to the model, and to the colours that you picked here.
Yeah.
Obviously, lots of lovely details as well, as you'd expect from Deathwatch.
Yeah. We've got some little kind of script markings and stuff on the armour as well, which is a really nice way to add even more character to a very characterful unit, which is very, very, very good. Very, very precise as well. So excellently well done. What's he said there? Used to only been painting a year. Well, congratulations, tattoo zoologist. That's very good.
I mean, they look fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah,
wouldn't have been able to tell. Welcome to painting after a year. And you've obviously done a lot of work in that year because these looking fantastic.
Yeah, I had a conversation the other day when someone asked me how long I've been painting for, and I said 26 years, and they went, "Oh." I was like, "What was that meant to me?" And he was like, "I just thought you'd be further along by now." I was like, wow. Thanks.
Yeah. Come on, Josh, pick up the pace.
Exactly. Be better. We have some Space Wolves here. So we have Ulrich the Slayer. Is that his name? No, the chaplain one in the middle.
Is it Ulrich the Slayer?
I can't remember. But we've got a very classic.
I think it might be.
We've got a very classic old Wolf Lord here, and a Gravis captain, the Primaris one, no less. This is the one from Dark Imperium, is that right?
The Gravis captain.
Yeah, because he normally has a sword that he's doing that with. He's going, "Behold, my sword."
Yeah.
He's the one that looks slightly pregnant.
Oh, yes. Took me a moment to place it, but yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah.
Using it, usually holding it up.
The same person that said you painted Sylvaneth wrong. No, completely different person. And also different to the person who told me I don't know how to base my miniatures either.
All different people.
I love this old, the old wolf, as I always used to like to call him. The Wolf Lord on the right. It is a real classic, that one. Again, like you said, toes peeking over the edge of the base. That kind of real classic Games Workshop style.
I want to say it's a Rune Priest, maybe.
Oh, it might be a Rune Priest, yeah.
Because I remember this model from ages ago. It's kind of that similar era to the Dark Angels and their cloaks and whatnot. This was like the wolfy Rune Priest or Wolf Lord, whichever one it is. Just had like so many like totems on them. Had their hair in the braids, and then has like this force or like rune axe. It was just so evocative of that Space Wolves aesthetic.
Yeah. Oh man, Space Wolves! I love them so much.
We haven't seen. We've seen some great Space Wolves in this journey of many Warhipsters, but we've seen a lot of the other chapters. We've seen some great Space Wolves, but maybe we should see some more Space Wolves. We're always up to seeing some more of them.
I do love the Space Wolves. We have the Abhorrent Archregent again. There we go. That's the one I was thinking of. We have some Dire Wolves. Again, suitably bloodied, wounded. Wounded and bloodied, as only a direwolf can be.
As you'd expect them to be.
I really like that you've got the kind of so this guy, the Pack Alpha, has just like emptied its guts out on the floor of the grass.
Yeah.
I really like that as a touch. I think that looks fantastic. It's very evocative of early Resident Evil hounds.
Yeah.
Like the zombie hounds.
The blood is almost glowing as well, with how like bright and glistening it is as well. It definitely, like I said, evocative of that very gruesome sort of like gore aspect of it, and then to just tie that in with the base is a genius touch. Yeah,
definitely. And I think this was the last one. So we have some orcs. We have oh god, I forgot. We have the commando sergeant, boss knob, the bomb squig, and Zodgrod. Is that his name?
It's Those are probably the right letters. They may or may not be in the right order.
God's Rod.
as,
Zodrodod.
as is Orcs' way.
It's the weird one that came in.
Yeah,
not your paint job. The hair.
Yeah, the one who has it's like a hair squig, which is then like stapled to his head, and is a separate like creature that grows. And it's orc lore is weird.
Indeed, it is. It's amongst.
But yeah, the hair is not his own and is basically stapled to his skull.
Yeah, Zodgrod Wartsnagger. There you go.
That's the one.
The name. Stephen Tyler Knob. Yeah. Dream on.
Yeah.
No, I mean, these are great, man. I have a Zodgrod to
Yeah.
paint, and I need to paint some orcs, actually. The Codex is coming out this weekend. I just don't have time to do them this week. So
much stuff coming out.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. But Tattooed Zoologist, for somebody who has only been painting for a year, you are amongst exceptional painters. Yeah. You're an exceptional painter. You've joined the crew. You're part of the Tale of Many Warhipsters. You are of the exceptional scale. So thank you so much for sharing these with us. And I'm sorry I didn't get them in the pack. I completely missed the email. I thought I'd got them all. And I completely missed it. But we managed to get you in, so thank you for saying something. And Patrick Sullivan, thank you very much for gifting 10 of the finest Warhipster memberships. You are very, very kind. Thank you so much.
Absolute boss.
But that's it. That's it for today. For Tale of Many Warhipsters. That is everybody done, I hope. Unless I've missed anyone else. Anyone else, if I've missed you, just let me know. And we'll get it in the next 9 minutes. Because we're going to try and wrap things up by 11:30. Because I've got Night Lords to paint. Thank you very much for all the gifted members, guys. Rich, whilst I fiddle around with the computer over there so I can get the random number generator ready, do you want to tell us who your highlights, who your favourites were?
There were so many of them, though. That's the thing. I swear each month you guys just keep on getting better and better and submitting higher and higher quality stuff, and it's always so hard to choose. So I have a whole list, and you know what? The other two aren't here, so I'm just going to read off the whole list, and you can decide which ones you like the best. But first, I want to give a shout out to Cetonius with the excellent Typhus, Skarbrand, their namesake, done to the highest quality with all the skulls that they could muster, and then some more. Special shout out as well to James Matthias's Raptor Kill Team. Love all the story and the character you put into the mini Viking minis with the Slann Star Master that looked basically like a diorama, and then your characters that were sort of oozing atmosphere with the Orc, the Ogre, and the Vampire. The mini creatives, basically perfect Gravis Apothecary that looked like it should be in a publication somewhere. And also then lastly to Hairlock with the Chaos Lord and Karkadrak and the Dark Angels banner bearer as well. Just oozing atmosphere all across the board every month that you submit. These are just some of the names that I can highlight here, but there were so many more. You guys are absolutely killing it. Every month you submit, it's just absolute joy to go through all your submissions.
I mean, you've put it brilliantly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so many. I've already said this. Everybody who submits is an exceptional artist. You are all exceptional artists and exceptional hobbyists for taking part. I love each and every single one of you. And having favourites, I'm not supposed to do it, but I think all of the honourable mentions goes to all 49 or however many entries we've had today. I particularly enjoyed. I'm just scrolling through. Let me just pick out a favourite right here. More because of envy, I'm going to say Ricky Drinks Paint for having got Elrond done, and for continuing to fly the flag for MESBG, because you, sir, You're doing the Valar's work right there.
Great system, more people should play.
Completely agree. But mini painting dads, Canis Rex, the below average minis is Annihilators, Niles Annihilators, Dam Buster for bolt actioning, Lacuva for his Bellicor, Skarbrand, of course, for Skarbrand, me for the Kroot. Come on, I'm just going to give myself a shout out there.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, 5 out of 10, right? Usually for me, that's what we usually say. Just before we do all the thing, we are going to pop the deadline on screen and minimize the random number generator. April 30th is the deadline for episode number 10. For deadline number 10. And it is a 1 battle line / troops unit. That is the next up thing. But of course, it's more a guideline. You can submit via the emailing me at therealwarhipster@gmail.com, or via the members / Patreon's Discord server, or by following the Google form link in the description below. All are viable options, and I generally managed to pick them all out. But massive apologies goes to the tattooed zoologist, because I didn't manage to pick him out today. That is my mistake. It is literally just my filters didn't pick you up. Because people email throughout the month. And so I have these filters that I've set up to try and pick them all up. And it just missed you, tattooed zoologist, and I can only apologise. It's probably something to do with technology, which, as we all know, I frequently fail at.
We'll just blame the technology and be done with it.
Warhipster, speaking of Kroot, do you have any advice for albino / Arctic Kroot? Yes, if you go for like a white base, like prime them with like white Scar primer, a really good Arctic colour for you would be to use Pilar Glacier, because it would give you an albino white albino Arctic skin. Is exactly what you would get. Where was that from Star Pilot? So, do a War Dog count as 1 battle line? Absolutely, it does. Grimdark Blood Angels for the next one. Yes, you should. Ilka. I hope I've said that right.
Yeah.
Stormcast Dragons still battle line? Yep, until the new edition, they're still battle line. We won't know.
Get while you still can.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job we're going to get this concluded before the next edition of thing, because they've done away with battle line, and troops are gone from 40k, so now it's an outdated terminology.
Yeah,
so
we can still use it for now.
Exactly.
It's fairly broad as it is anyway. So
Games Workshop clearly watched the stream, and they're just like, we need to make this easier for people to submit, so we're just going to take the shackles off. It's just going to now just be called models. So season 3 will probably be back with more models. Anyway, random number generator. Let us generate the number to see who wins their next models from me. I've just changed the DPI on my mouse. Didn't mean to do that. And now it's back. So sorry for everybody who just got Windows notifications down the desktop audio. Generate. Number 10. So let's see who that is. Number 10 is... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The winner is Skarbrand.
Submits your own namesake, and look what you get. You win.
Skarbrand, congratulations. You have won your next unit being paid for by myself. So send me an email to therealwarhipster@gmail.com and tell me what you want and where you're based in the world. If you're based in the US, then I will send you some dollary dues. If you're based in the UK, then I shall buy it and I shall ship it to you from a shop of some description. Another Skarbrand.
Either that or just like reimburse him for all the skulls that he spent on the base.
Yeah, I could send you some boxes of skulls if that's what you need. Yeah, send me an email to therealwarhipster@gmail.com and Yeah. London, hence the constant anger. Perfect. That means I don't need to send you some dollary dues. So one more time, what we shall do is we shall throw up the deadline rules so everybody can be reminded. Deadline number 10 is April 30th. 30th of April. Although, of course, you know, it moves. One battle line / troops unit. And, of course, submit your models via emailing me at therealwarhipster@gmail.com or member/Patreon's Discord server or by following the Google form link below. So, hopefully he reads that one. Reads what? What have I missed? Oh, email. Oh, I see. It's a throwback.
Yeah.
Nice.
Throwback to the how many unread emails you have.
I do read that one. Thank you very much. So, all that remains to say is a massive, massive thank you to the 40 new members that we got tonight. That's incredible. And for all the other, the chat, the super chats, we should just quickly read those out. Plops of Corn, Yamail Angmar, Werewolf 40k, Star Pilot, Jack, Carl of Hodgie, Peter Collins, and Patrick Sullivan. Thank you very much for the gifted memberships and for the super chats. You guys are very, very kind. You're very, very pretty, and I love you. Thank you. We will see you all very soon for another Warhipster thing. There should be a painting video tomorrow if I can finish the Bloody Night Lords. But I'm about to head into Trim City, so hey. But see you all very soon for another thing. And thank you so much for hanging out for Tale About Many Warhipsters, Episode 9, Season 2. We will be back with Episode 10 next month. But for now, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Mr. Gwatkin. Say goodbye, Mr. Gwatkin.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Love you. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. Farewell. Good evening.